mics
right.
are hot.
All
Holy
right.
moly.
Our first time.
I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie. It just
So am
it just
I.
hit me all of a sudden. I got
And
so
like,
we're ready, but here we
yeah,
go. So you already know me. My name's
yeah.
Casey, but I don't think the Emperor community knows me necessarily. But I failed my nation last year, but I've returned to hopefully bring some glory to a different nation. So we'll see. So um, yeah, why don't you give a bit of an introduction about
Yeah,
yourself,
for
or we
sure.
can
So,
slow roll it a bit. But
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
I'm Bruno, like
yeah,
most people know. I've been creating that game about 25 years ago, more
it's
even.
amazing.
And we've been going strong since, having new players, having
Hmm.
new people involved, having, new things brought to the table. You with the podcast,
Podcast, yeah.
Diego with the maps, and all the people involved over the years. So it's always very interesting to be able to be on screen and talk, which is different than last year being in our little Zoom
Yeah,
chat,
yeah, of course.
And I think a podcast has a better way. It's more of a conversation, and that's what I'm hoping to accomplish tonight
Hmm.
is going through the information more in a conversation than just me spilling out information.
Yeah, and then at least we can kind of give you some maybe like real time feedback or questions and kind of help lead it, even though you have to go through what you need to, but at least we can kind of help get some questions out before. Because I know we kind of did a big push to kind of see if we could enlist some new players, right? And so if we have them in the chat or they're going to watch a video afterwards, it's going to help feed that. But before we get into the like nitty gritty of the game, I'm always curious about like where it came from. Like I get that you did it 25 years ago,
Yeah.
but why
Um,
or
it
how?
started with a school project,
Okay.
and I'll be perfectly honest with the the people watching is, your last minute. You went out to a few bars the past week, and the deadline was tomorrow. And what I decided to do is bring my presentation through something I knew at the time, which was role playing games.
Okay. Yeah.
So I went up and kind of explained kind of in my world and creating the game as I'm presenting.
Hmm.
And then what was funny about it is that the teacher then said, "Oh, that seems so amazing. You put so much effort into it. Let's try a game next class." So I had now a week to create a game, right? For
Oh, so
like
they actually
35.
played it as
So
well.
we
Okay.
played it for 15 minutes,
Yeah.
which was quite
Yeah.
cool. And from there, the players, well, my classmate, but the players
Yeah.
got hooked up. And from there, we started, and it all started, and that's when I see the how it evolved. We started out on piece of paper, pen,
Mm.
and eraser, and then we're now where with helps with Renault and Nicholas, which are probably will be watching, and I want to thank them. Our players that came on board and helped me transition to Excel.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
all the one doing macros. They're from France. They were exchange student, and I've learned to know. So at that point, they decided to got involved in the backside of the game instead of playing it. So
Right.
it's always amazing year after year the things we can add now that we're evolving together in the game. So
Yeah.
it's nice, and I want to take the time also to thank a few other people like Diego. He's an administrator. I've known him for more than 15 years, but has been playing, has been helping with the amazing video, which first little surprise is coming back every Monday
Nice.
morning. We'll have a video out for players to see. So I wanted to take the time to thank him, but also so many players are involved. Like Austin is our community officer, and last year did a nice social event.
Yeah.
We ate wings. It was nice to see the players face to face, and he'll keep the chat going and talkative. Um, and then we have Krista, which is one of our recruitment officer. Such an amazing lady. I mean, going out there, and it's not easy, but finding potential players,
Yeah.
explaining the game, and so on and so forth. And we probably, out of this year, 47 players, probably 10, 15 was now recruited from her. So I
Wow.
just
Okay.
wanted to raise my hat to her. She did really a great job at it. So, um,
I think the neat thing too is you're international. Like you've got
yeah,
how many different real time nations or real life nations that are playing in the game too, right? It's not
exactly.
just like a homegrown
Tom,
Canadian game, right?
Tom, Brian, and Kevin from Belgium, and I think one's in Luxembourg. I might be mistaken, but Paul, that's taking a year
Right.
off from Mozambique. Natasha from Russia, Vanessa from Sweden. We had Danielle from England. We had different people across. We have Timmy that is from South Korea.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So that, sorry, we're starting to really get out
Yeah.
there and have the world following us. So that's pretty exciting too.
So of course, if you're hearing this and we're starting our season pretty much next week, but if you do and you have friends that are interested, reach out. You can always message through our Facebook Messenger group or connect that way. It's going to certainly help. Um, but yeah, like coming back to it. So what is the basis of the game? Because we've introduced kind of how it came from, the
Yeah.
conception of it, but what is the role of the game and how does it come together each week, or how do
So
you play it?
yeah, so exactly. So the game is I like to say open in the sense that we are not trying to limit the players on what they can do. It's trying to find things to manage it, but basically you're now 52 players and you're really trying to conquer the world, to put it simply.
Yep. Yep.
And the game is around four main sphere, which is economy,
Mm-hmm.
the war, the social, and the diplomacy side.
Yep.
So everything you do falls within those circles and follow a specific set of guidelines for those spheres.
Okay. Okay.
So that's interesting. And then player identify to one of those spheres, right? You could be more of an economist. You like the money, you like building empires
Or you like
through.
chaos.
Yeah, exactly. Chaos,
That's just me.
which
Yeah.
is probably more.
Who can
So,
I kill?
yeah, exactly. So that's what's great about the game is
Yeah.
everybody has their own unique approach to it.
Yeah.
You pick stuff from this different sphere to your personality, and you're building an empire that reflects you.
Right.
And something that I want to be clear, it's not because you're not successful one year that your way is wrong. It's just there's so many other factors, right?
Right.
A player that came out of nowhere, or
Or an economist.
yeah,
Yeah, takes over.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
a
Of course.
disease
Of course.
breaking out in the middle of
Yep.
something, right? So you need to understand that some players take it maybe more personally the first year
Yep.
that they die, and
Yep.
you have to be like, you did great, and they did great usually.
Somebody
And
just did better. Is
yeah,
really what it comes
exactly.
down to being,
Yeah,
though. Like
exactly. So
I think like this is my second season or second year playing, and I was invited by a friend who knows I like board games. So shout out to Dan, who also knew Bruno in another way. But it's just I didn't know the depth that you can get into with the game. Like I thought, yeah, okay, it's gonna be a D&D style. I'm gonna choose a nation and make a couple choices, but the choices that you can really get down to like a finite little material choice that just shapes your whole nation in the way that you kind of jump into one of those buckets, which I found was really
it's
interesting. So I'm kind of I didn't realize the depth. So it's neat to see how those successful players really can hyper focus onto their bucket and then kind of drive their nation in that direction. So I hope that if someone new is joining it can take in as much as they can from that handbook, which we'll address later, but then also find their direction and their passion in the way that they want to take their nation and see. And it might be successful and it might not.
yeah, and player ask me often, what's the difference in between a new player and an experienced player? Why is there a gap? There's a gap just by experience.
Right.
You play your first year, you don't know all the buckets, you don't understand all the spheres and all the mini options. You
Yeah.
ask question, you're trying to figure it out. And if you're lucky, you don't hit a new player until 4 or 5 weeks,
Right.
which gave you time to explore.
Right.
Um, an experienced player went through this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and that's another remarkable
Hmm.
set and emperor is that some have been playing for now 19 years. Our Pope Derek, that's playing this year and taking over Paul in that position, played for 19 years. If
Yeah,
you
that's pretty
think
wild.
about it, Paul 17 years, Chad for over 10 years. So you have players that have been playing consistently, and it's not meaning they're winning. I mean, we have players that are winning after 2, 3, 4 years. So another question I have often is, what is the year I should be expected to perform?
Yeah,
What are the
always,
golden
always.
years?
Yeah,
And then that makes me laugh because there's really not. But after the third year, you hit that little up.
you should have a good
Yeah,
grasp of what you're doing.
exactly.
Sure, sure,
Between
sure.
after 3, 4 years, you're starting to really be out there and making an impact on the game.
Fair.
Before that, enjoy the process.
Learn,
Yeah, and if
bomb,
you're
bomb,
lucky,
and yeah.
everything can happen. But for sure, so don't worry about
Okay, awesome. That's awesome. I don't think we have. We do have a comment that popped up in our chat. Dabs. We don't know who you are, Dabs, but we appreciate your comment. The Pope cheats, and we will address that at some point as well.
Yeah.
Anyways, and another comment that followed up is that you don't necessarily know about bodyguards or how that works in
Yeah,
your
exactly.
in
And
your
we'll
first year,
talk
and
about
we will
it. So
address that as we
yeah,
go.
for sure.
I do appreciate if the audio is at all low. Let us know. We are kind of doing this as a first run. I haven't streamed anything in almost a year, so we have a makeshift studio in the basement, and we plan to do these podcasts weekly. We also do plan to kind of have different themes, which is what we've been
Yeah, for
bouncing
sure.
across, like previous winners, seeing different nations of real life nations and who could come in as potentially like the other like people that are in Emperor and who else is playing.
And the review of the video that Diego's going to do, we're
Right.
going to talk about it for 5, 10 minutes, kind of see if there's more information
Yeah.
we can put out there about it and see how the worlds evolve, week after week. So
I assume most of everybody, much better, good. I assume most of everybody knows it's through Facebook Messenger, but in the event that you don't, that's where most of the updates are posted, and then the links to the YouTube channels as well. So that's something we want to make sure to keep people kind of connected with. So new players stay in touch on that on Messenger. Do you want to talk character sheets, or what do you want to get into
let's start
here?
on the character sheet. So we have a new setup here. So
Yeah, give me 1 sec. I'll flip over to the character sheets, and then we'll go from there. So hang tight. All right, so we have here the player's character sheet, and I'm gonna move the mouse as Bruno talks, and he's gonna go from there.
all right, so the first thing you need to note is that we're going to always work from 4 sheets, and you have them at the bottom there. So the record sheet, the character sheet, the empire sheet, and your city sheets. So your city sheet, you could have more than one, obviously. You will gain 1 tap per city you're gaining. The empire sheet we'll see later. It's kind of a resume of all your cities, a quick peek. Your character sheet is really your ruler, your family, and your entourage. And the record sheet is really the basic of what is happening, what we're doing, and how we're doing it. So let's start with the record sheet and add a bit of a change this year. Research is right there to the top. So we keep referring the 4-sphere, Casey, and I always tell players, you will see those 4-sphere in colors. So culture and culture, what is considered social is always in purple. Economy is always in green. Diplomacy in blue, and war is usually in red. Now you have some red there for announcement, but just keep in mind that red is typically war. So under social, it's all your research. So you can actually in Emperor research and be better at stuff. So
Right, of course.
being farming, being other things, and some people value that early in game, and other people just do it at the end. It's up to you. There's different level of each research. You can see that. You can see the level you're at, which is now 0 to everything. The level, the next level up, if you want, which is 1 for most of them. Then you have, when it started, when it's due. Did you put money in it? Did you put researchers in it? And we'll speak about that. That comes with infrastructure. And then there's certain bonuses, and it's going to tell you live when it's due. And then you can keep a quick eye on your research for the Empire. So it's very general. The other one is the currency tab. So in Emperor, you can start your money. You need to have your own resources like iron, gold, or whatever you decide to make it of. And you need to be the skill set. And this is how you will define if a player is an economist, right?
Yeah.
Right off the bat, like week 5 or 6, you'll see coinage coming out. So usually those are the more experienced economists putting their money out there. What does it do? Well, basically, if you have your own money, you can be bought out. And that's a big thing, right? Because in Emperor, there's 4 ways of conquering stuff. You can do it through war, you can do it through your economy, through the social, and through the diplomacy.
Right.
Part. So, again, we were speaking about those buckets. It's another way of doing it.
And I know you don't want to get too much into the details because you do want the players to really kind of learn the ins and outs and the goods and bads of the process of Emperor. So if ever I ask a question, because I'm going to try and ask some questions, because I either it's from my own failings or from whatever it is, just maybe mention, you have to try that strategy out. Just because I'm thinking, like one of the things certainly that I got into was I was just money hungry. I was taking cities over and then realizing I didn't have enough money and it's, whatever. So, and I guess part of managing those, and I'm going to answer my own question, I realize it now, but I'm going to go through it, is like, you need to invest some of those action points and that like experience into those buckets to then be able to sustain the stuff that comes out. Right.
But again, that's your own personal approach to it. And it's great to see.
Yeah.
Other people will just keep always war.
Right.
Right. And they'll keep the war machine going and getting money from killing and conquering and pillaging.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's a way of working. But now you're starting after a year
Yeah.
to define your own vision
What is
of
my
what
style?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, and that's what's great about it, is everybody has their own approach to it. And the first turn is always the same thing with a new player. It's like, what now?
Yeah.
And then we start talking about what do they value, what do they like, and all of a sudden turn 1 is done, and then they're like, what? It's done? So in experienced player, it's basically opening their notebook from past period and just drilling down the first 2 turns that they've been doing for the past 5 years.
Right.
So it's always nice to see that change, that different approach to it.
The notes page was something that Bruno said to me, kind of, most returning players, by the time that they're starting their turn, they've got a list of actions that they're looking to do. And I used to come into my turns and be like, all right, so this is what I did last time. And what am I going to do this time? And then thankfully, like as an administrator, Bruno and I assume Diego as well are very good at kind of not hand holding, but just properly directing or allowing the conversation to flow naturally. So it's going to be, you might have some places that are weaker here. You might want to improve here, or what's your goal? Where are you trying to go? What are you trying to take over? So thankfully, like the learning in those first few years is very much like led in a direction that you want to take it, but then how you get there is by you, right? So it's very helpful in that sense. I felt I didn't feel like I was completely overwhelmed, because if you when we look at the handbook, you're going to say, oh gosh, like that's like a really daunting thing to try and read and take on, but it's a resource or a referencing that we use, and then the administrators do their best to get you where you want to go.
Exactly.
Right or wrong, whether it's a bad answer or a good answer, they'll get you where you want, but you might end up dead. But nonetheless.
Good point. So currency is something you can do, and if that's something you want to get involved in, we can certainly talk. And again, in the manual, it refers to it. All the rules are there, so don't get too worried about how to get there. If ever it's a topic of conversation, we'll go through it.
Yeah.
The second new part, I'll invite you to click on it. It's my map. So before I used to send maps, basically through email or on an Excel spreadsheet. This year, we're changing our ways, and we are actually putting the map live. So as I'm doing changes on your map, as you're doing turns, you will see those city disappear, reappear, the roads being put down, the canals, your naval, your ships
I
being
think this is
deployed.
the neatest update. Like I think
Yeah.
having the direct, the direct result of those actions and those things that are happening in real time is going to be
Yeah,
super,
I think
super
it's
awesome.
so at this point, yeah. So on the map, you have the legend too. So if you're lost of what does that mean, everything's there. The color themes. If you have your map with you while listening to us, you can open it and
Yeah.
see it
Yeah.
by clicking there. And obviously, if you have a little square that is kind of that teal tile that says player one on your map, it means you already see a player. So get ready. It's going to get really exciting really rapidly for you. And hopefully, it's a new player too learning. If not, if it's an experienced player, I would say at that point, try to
Be
learn as
ready.
much as you can. Yeah, he's coming.
Take what you can get.
Yeah, exactly.
We do have a question.
Yeah.
It's live. So Dabs is asking, will the map be the spreadsheet like before, or will it be an anvil?
Okay, so it's a spreadsheet. It is the format we're seeing there, but it's going to be expanded in that document, meaning no opening multiple documents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, I'll open my map now. All you have to do really is open your playing sheets and go to your records, click on your map, and the map's going to appear in front of you.
For functionality for us is amazing. I'm sure it's
for us too, because I just have
you.
to click on it too.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's going to be fairly easy to manage and to go forward. So again,
so can I ask? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
What are the yellow dotted lines?
So as you can see in the legend, it's all there.
Oh,
those are sea borders.
Yeah.
Red would be land borders. Yellow are you. So any city you possess will be in yellow. Any teal color means cities that are owned by other players. And then you have villages, big villages, city, and major cities. You have the color there. And what I added to the legend for you is how many population
That's
they
huge.
have.
That's huge.
Because that's fairly a big question we do. How many people? Because I often say to player, and I'll say it now, when you're attacking something, 10 to 25% of the population is an army.
That was going to be my next question.
So at that point, if you can figure it out about how many population it's there, you do 10 to 25%, gives you an idea of how big the army could be.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have the water, desert, the mountains, and forests, and plain, and farmland. So it's all little information that you need to gather when you're doing it.
And it really does expand quickly. I know on my first few turns, I had just decided to do some exploring. And so as I was doing that exploration, the next week that I came back to my map, it had expanded like a grid of 5x5 or whatever it was, like the blocks. And so immediately you're able to see like a lot more cities, a lot more potential players, and then it made it, you're able to kind of plot some sort of a course of where you're going to go and what you're going to take over. So it's
we
super
can
helpful.
Speak about exploration a bit. So exploration, there's two type. Well, there's actually three type of explorers, and explorers are now military unit.
Right.
That's new this year.
Okay.
Before it was a diplomatic unit, so it couldn't be really attacked. So right now, explorers being military unit, if you have an outpost, a stronghold, and you have an army there, the explorer will touch that square and die automatically, stopping your opponent from discovering that square. So
they don't get out and they can't come report back home. I get it.
So you'll hear a lot of things like nation square and regional square. And let's define that right now. Regional square is one of those little squares, right? Right now you see a big square that's 20 by 20.
Yep.
It's 20 by 20 regional squares.
Yep.
The big square is nation square. So when you send an explorer out, it explore a nation square, so that big square.
Another bigger one, okay.
Exactly. And you can explore a square that you're in touch with. So meaning if we take that square at the beginning, it touches 8 squares around it, diagonals being included. So, like you said, your map will become 1 square to 9 square nation square right off
Right
the
off the
bat.
first week, yeah.
So if you explore, because the thing is, if you explore and your explorer gets killed by military or not, you can declare war on that person for free. But the opposite is also true.
Right.
Now you have horse explorers, also that does 2 squares,
Mhm.
right? So, but they attack. So if they enter where an explorer, let's say me and you are close enough, I send horse explorer, you send explorer, my horse explorer kills your explorer, so you don't get the square, but I do.
Oh, interesting.
And then you can declare war on me for doing that.
Yep.
2 horse explorers will kill, and we would have both that option.
Right.
If my horse explorer enters a place where you have a stronghold or an outpost, it will attack the outpost because it is a military
So
unit,
it has to.
giving you the
Yep.
option of. Note that if an explorer dies, it won't report that square back to you.
Right.
So, and then the last explorer that exists are priests.
Right.
And you will learn to hate them.
Yep.
The Pope, the Patriarch, can send their priests as explorers. Now, the problem is they are considered military, but if you touch a priest, then the Pope can actually declare a crusade on you. Meaning, and we can see that in the manual,
Yep.
meaning that every Catholic nation has a choice. Within 3 weeks, it has to
join
send
the crusade.
money
Ah.
or soldiers to kill you. So it's always something when the Pope sends priests in Catholic nations. I'm going to declare it to you because priests are not hiding.
Yep.
You have priests in your nation square. What do you do? And then it's going to be the decision of what are you going to do to the Pope. So you're Muslim, you kill them because you're Muslim. And
Mhm.
at that period, there was a lot of tension between the two religions. Then at that point, you have a crusade of 250,000 soldiers on your doorstep within 2 weeks. You don't, then the Pope knows exactly where you are.
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say
So-
then they get the information
yeah,
of where you're
and
at.
worse
anyways.
if you're Catholic, because then you can't kill the priest.
Hmm.
Right? So it's another level to the game.
Yeah.
And again, there's a lot there in exploring.
Yeah.
Ask
Yeah.
question one-on-one, and we can
Yeah.
debate
That's got to be
but
when it comes
the-
up
the-
those situational.
the thing I wanted to bring to the table. There's different type of exploring, but they are now military units,
Right.
which in the past they were civic units, diplomatic.
Unless there were
units.
horses.
Unless they were horses, but they were still diplomatic unit that could engage.
They could attack. Yeah. Okay.
Now they're all just military.
Okay.
So basically, that's the map.
Yep.
I don't know if we have any more question on mapping. It seemed to be good.
No, we just had a comment where I said, "What are the yellow lines?" and you replied with, "As you can see in the legend." Okay, well,
Yeah, there you go. At least they're paying attention. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Let's keep going.
Yeah, let's go back to the record sheet. So
Yes.
we have the map. Then beside that, you have diplomatic concepts. So cultural and religious. So a big change in 4.1.1 is that culture is now a diplomatic concept. And we'll talk about it later. About all of that. But now you can get extra AP. So Emperor is based on action points.
Yeah. Right.
Right?
Okay,
The more
yes.
action point you have, the more action you can do
It's
in
the
a turn.
engine that runs your turns. Yeah.
Exactly. Means how many action can you do and how much damage you can do in a turn. So we have different ways of getting APs, and we'll talk about it in a few seconds. But one of the ways is to fulfill cultural or religious kind of objective. So if you're leading a religion, for example, or if you have the biggest cultural center.
Yep. Yep.
Now, it's great to have those, but it is also put out. So let's say Bruno in France will build the biggest Catholic temple and be the leader of the French culture. Well, then an announcement will come out.
Right.
France is now the leader of the culture of the French.
Right.
Which means everybody
Everybody
now
knows you're exposed, or you're
Yeah,
there's more
so
exposure
there's a
to what's
player-
happening. And
that's
those
playing
those
friends.
announcements are made through the Facebook Messenger chat as well,
Yeah.
so it's in live real time as you get there.
It's
Or
going
is
to be
it
a short message
okay
out in the chat, but it's reviewed in details by Diego in the
in the
video.
video? It's
Meaning
amazing.
you're done.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to
Right.
watch that video
Yeah.
and know exactly where you are.
Right.
May not know it's you, but experienced player, doesn't matter who it is. They know there's a player there and they're going to move in for the kill.
Okay. Okay. So
Right.
until you get come out as a king or a queen or a ruler of a specific nation too, it'll just say that you're the cultural capital or cultural center for your culture.
Exactly. And
Okay.
it might actually name your city. Just saying. You
Oh,
know,
in which case,
like
yeah.
Lyon,
Right.
the city of Lyon
Yeah.
in France is now the
Yeah.
French
Cultural
culture.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, and then everybody's like, "Where's Lyon?
Yeah.
You know, let's
All-
explore. Let's
all
find it out."
pointing in one direction at that
Let's-
point. Yeah, of course.
exactly.
Okay.
So just be mindful of that, really.
But it's a good way to build your engine to get AP,
Yeah, for sure.
which is
Once
important.
you're declared king and queen, and people know
Yeah.
that
Doesn't
you
matter at
are
that
playing,
point.
then it doesn't matter. That's when I would.
You
Probably
need
do
the
it.
train to keep
Yeah.
going.
So beside it, it is exactly that, the engine, the action point. How
Mhm.
do I get action point? Well, as you can see in blue, your diplomatic concept is right there. And then you have a green section right beside it, Casey. Yeah.
This
Then you
one
have the green. There's other ways to get AP by declaring yourself king and queen or by declaring territory. So remember those nation square, those big square, right? You can, if you have control of it by having a city in it or
Mm.
by having control of certain areas, you can declare it as territory. What does it do is you spend one action point, but it gives you 2 action point per turn.
Right.
If it's your own nation, and 1 action point per turn more if it's
Somebody
a
else's.
nation you didn't start with.
Hmm.
But it also stops people from building roads in it. It also identify if you have the proper structure
Slows
in.
down their expansion.
Yeah,
I get
exactly.
it. Okay.
And
okay.
then if you build an outpost, because you need to own that land to be putting an outpost, the outpost will detect if an army's coming in that nation square, thus preparing you in advance. So
And is that placed on your map?
it is placed on your map.
And just for the sake of the game, if I'm exploring,
Yes.
not an army, although it's still a military unit. Now, would
Yeah.
it still be like seen as an act of war?
Yeah, so you have
Like,
an
say-
outpost with 100. So I
Yeah.
think it's 1,000 soldiers.
Sure.
I send an explorer, a regular explorer
Yeah.
on his little feet, that little Bilbo going
Doesn't
with
matter.
his bag.
Yeah.
Comes in, sees the outpost attack him because now he recognized the unit.
It's a threat.
Because, yeah, he kills him. First, Bruno says, why do I have a nation square that's blanked out? Well, your explorer died. And second, I gave Casey the opportunity to declare war for free. And Casey said, you know what? I'll take that.
Right.
And then, so I'm being declared war upon without even knowing
Who did I run
where
into?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So the best, the follow up to that would be to send an army in to
Mhm.
declare, to see that square.
Mhm.
But if you're building an army to attack me, I may encounter that, not knowing that.
Yeah.
So it's a
But
playable
give and take.
yeah,
I like it. I like
exactly.
it. Okay.
Yeah. So that section is really to give you an idea of how APs are created. Know that every city costs you 5 AP to manage, to administer. In a village, it's 3 AP. So that will be removed from the available AP. So you don't want an empire with 150 cities if you can't produce enough AP to manage them
it. Yep.
and still do actions, right? And that's each year there's a player that's overextend, don't have enough AP, falls into war, don't have enough AP to do anything about it, and dies off.
Yep. Okay. Interesting.
And the last section are call turns. It's fairly simple. I'm gonna record everything you do. So, and at that point, you'll always be able to refer back on when you did stuff and how you did stuff.
How long is each turn?
It depends on the number of AP you have.
Yep.
But like at the beginning, let's be honest, 15 minutes, give or take.
I mean, sorry. What's the length of time in the game time
Oh,
is a turn? Sorry.
Yeah, that's a good question. So turn one
Mm-hmm.
is it is winter spring.
Yeah, 2 seasons.
So the grain comes in,
Right.
and then the turn two, it's fall.
Summer, fall,
No, it's fall, winter. Hey, I'm getting this wrong.
winter, spring,
It-
summer, fall, or it would be a different lineup.
Yeah, I think it's a different lineup. I think it's fall, winter, and
It could be.
spring,
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 summer. Yeah, and
Turn one is half the year.
It's 2
where the grain
seasons and
comes
2
in.
seasons.
And then the second turn, the money comes in.
fair. Yeah, right.
So that's usually how it goes.
So you're playing 1 year's worth in each week that you meet with Bruno
Exactly.
or Diego. I think was where I was trying to go. Like each time you have 2 turns, it's one full, calendar
Full
year
year.
or seasonal for
Exactly.
season. So
So
that's
we start
how
at
they break it down.
1100.
Yeah.
So 1100.
Yeah.
And each week it's 1101, 1102, and things.
And the length of time, like you were trying to say, I mean, your first couple turns, you're kind of potentially investing in your nation and your city and where you are, and maybe sending explorers. It's a pretty short
Yeah.
turn typically,
It's
unless there's
still
experienced
more,
players that want to like divulge some special. Help me out, man! But somebody wants to give me some information.
I mean, the first turn for a new player is mostly questions.
Yeah.
Which is
Questions,
fair. And don't be shy. Always ask questions.
Yeah.
And Casey can tell you that. If you don't, then something may be lurking that
Yeah.
you don't know.
Yeah.
So basically, action is where me and Diego will write whatever you do. The sphere is different this year. We added
yeah.
that. We're going to write which sphere does it touch? War, economy,
Smart.
diplomacy, or economy.
Yep.
And that's going to automatically update part of your sheet directly as a hidden macro into the system,
Okay.
which stop us from counting
Mm-hmm.
at the update.
How many?
and
How
do
many?
yeah, exactly.
Diplomatic
So
touches has
again,
there
we're
been, or
trying to do stuff that updates automatically.
Mhm.
So for new players, as we're typing stuff in and changing numbers, your sheet updates.
Cool.
You will see the number, your revenue go up and down. You'll see your population going up and down, and
Mhm.
everything fluctuate as you're doing. So all the documents are
Constantly.
live.
Yeah.
So the description, we may say, for example, if you attack a city, it's going to be action attack city 1, sphere war, description 2,500 light infantry.
Mm-hmm.
And then the number of AP. And the numbers is just because for me and Diego for loops and stuff, and we'll talk about it. And then total, what you want to look really is at the top right corner.
It's up here.
Right now you have 15 action points.
Oops.
And now Krista had asked a good question. Each year, the first week,
An extra 5,
we
right?
give an extra
What do we
25.
get? What do we get? Oh,
But this
okay,
year,
okay.
we're going to go to 35.
Nice. Okay.
So first week, each turn, you're going to have 35 action
the
point
ground
more.
running.
So you're going to hit at 50 action point in
Oh,
your
wow,
first 2
okay,
turns.
Okay.
So excitement.
Yeah.
So
And with real time, okay, I can't even give up too much because my brain's working to what I'm thinking. But it's the real time actions and exploration and whatnot is going to make it
exactly.
really important on those
And
early turns.
remember, what's exciting, and I'm not shying away from saying it, is we have 18 players in Europe,
Yeah.
and we have over 15 players in America.
Different.
I mean,
time
just count
zones
the
and
number of
different-
nation you have in each.
Oh,
and
you're
it-
talking. Yeah. It's specifically on the map.
Yeah,
right?
so it's gonna get
gonna be-
you
it
know,
could be exciting.
you're
gonna be busy, that's for sure.
Exactly. So it's gonna. I'm looking forward to that dynamic.
Yeah.
Will we have alliance, major war,
Yeah.
chaos, just city burning because you need money? It's gonna be so great
Yeah.
to see. So it's stay tuned. It's gonna be
And how many total players? We're kind of late in the game to ask that question, but, just out
but
of
that's
curiosity.
okay. We have 47.
Yeah.
I have 36. Diego has 8. 44. 44
44.
players.
Nice. Awesome.
And we're still working on a few leads. So
Yep.
44 players is
Yep.
what we're looking at.
Awesome. Okay.
So that's the record. Let's move on. Character sheet. This is basically you. At the top, it's easy. Character's name. I did a sheet for myself. So
Yep.
So I'm Mohammed II. I'm male. Some of them are female. And the big question I was asked, what's the difference? Well,
Yep.
if you go at the manual, if you play a female character, you get a +3 to Constitution right off the
Oh,
bat
interesting.
because you are going to go through childbirth, and we have a system for that now. And you will be starting to roll for your death at the age of 32, not 30.
Right.
The advantage, and I'm not
Ha!
doing that because they're women. I'm doing that advantage because after research
It's
done,
historic.
yeah, exactly, that was done by Carlton Hughes, and shout out to what's her name? Forgot Fatma.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That did that research
Yep.
for me.
Yep.
Um, it was considered that they have a longer lifespan, and we try to be
Historically
realistic.
accurate.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
So basically, male, female,
Mhm.
your nation, you chose it. You shouldn't be surprised to see it
Nope.
there.
Nope.
Then you have your religion. And again, we're strong on color code. So it's green if you're Muslim. It's kind of a bluish for Catholics and so on. Then my culture. So you have two things guiding you as a
Yep.
player. You have your religion and your culture, which
Yep.
were big.
Yep.
So each time I'm going to conquer a city that is not my religion or is not my culture, and they're not linked to those, then I'm going to have an uprising, or I'm going to have disorder and chaos in my city. So when planning expansion, you want to plan to expand in nations that are within
your two. Okay.
yeah.
Interesting.
But at one point, you won't have a choice to go beyond, and we'll speak about
Or you
ways
just have
of
to
changing
quell
that.
that
But
unrest or whatever.
but for sure,
and
you'll
squash
need
it.
to keep that in mind. After that, you have your percentage of death and your age. You start at 18, and your percentage of
It's up
death
here.
is
Sorry.
up
Yep.
there. Yeah.
Yep. That's your.
So at that point, at 32, 30 for male, 32 for female,
Yep.
we're going to start rolling. And if we roll within the percentage of death, then you die. And if you don't have a son or a daughter to take over, then you're done.
That's the end. And
And the game has killed players before.
Oh yeah. I've heard of it. And all of these, when Bruno speaks to roles, they're all like macros and calculations that are done in the background in between your turns.
Exactly, and they're all randomized by a system.
Yeah, based off
obviously.
of these percentages, and when they get more into the different percentages of your character skills and your family and so on and so forth, you'll see how those change or how you can increase or decrease them.
For sure.
Yeah.
So the following part are basically your partner, active partner,
That's here.
and your wives, other wives, and concubines. So partners, it's you get married if you want to. If you get married, little tip here, you're getting free action points.
I was just
right?
gonna say, yeah.
Yeah. So
Shh.
spouses and husband give action point, and also gives you bonuses in your administration skill, which also gives you
more
action points.
Right.
So getting married is usually,
Important early.
well, if you want to do it.
It's
I
an
mean,
early game strategy.
again, if you're a social, you can marry somebody in a major city,
Oh, fair.
right? And so it takes a bit more time to get there. But once you marry, if the father was to die, accident happen all the time in
Right.
medieval time,
Right.
fishing accident, hunting accident. Then you gain that major city and
Yeah.
you did nothing,
Yeah.
right?
Fair.
You get a major city that's fully equipped right
Right.
off the bat. So
Okay.
it's another way of doing things. So concubines and other wives. So other culture in that time period allowed more than one wife, or concubines were well seen. Vikings, concubines were well seen, and Muslim and Hindus had multiple wives. So there's a whole section in the manual that reviews it. You can have more than one. You have to spend the action point between 10 and 35 to marry them. And they will give you offspring.
Okay. Right. So it's all about having.
Yeah,
kin.
exactly.
Yeah.
So what you have to keep in mind, if you have more than one wife, so not concubines, but wives, if another wife has a better ranking than your current wife, she will create unrest for you in your cities.
Oh my gosh.
She will
okay.
complain about it,
Right.
right? She should be the queen.
She should be the number one.
So the problem is that if you want to switch between them, having multiple wives, The only way you can do that is if she dies.
Right.
So you have to plan her death, and if you get caught, right?
That's more
And
unrest.
then
of course.
you are pretty much done for.
Mm-hmm.
Concubines are a bit different. They create unrest no matter what. They create less unrest.
Because
But
they just know that
yeah,
they are
exactly.
that. Right.
But they are creating, but they will never create the amount of unrest if they have a better score than your wife. They'll just give you better offspring.
Right. Okay.
So it's kind of that gamble. After that, you have your kids.
I do have a question.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, it does, and it's a real-time one about religion and culture, and it's if I take over a nation that's a different religion/culture, does it matter? And you did kind
Yes.
of reference it a bit, but it would create more
Unrest
unrest within that nation
and
you take
once
over.
we're at the city sheet, you'll see exactly where it's going to be.
Good
But
question.
yes, it is a problem.
Yeah.
And it is something that you need to address at one point and see what's your vision. Are you going multiculturalism and allowing all religion and culture to exist within your empire, or going the melting pot and
Yeah.
it's going to be my culture and I'm going to convert everyone to my culture and religion? They all have negative, positive.
Mm-hmm.
It's the decision you need to make
And how
once
you
you're
play.
big enough,
Yep.
and suffer the consequences that goes with it, and hope it holds on until you win
Yeah.
the game, right?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry.
That's good.
So, moving to your family information, you have the right to 4 children. If somebody dies, we're going to start rolling again to see if one of your concubines, wife, or active partner is having some.
But how do you have children first? Just you have a chance to have
Yeah,
children on every turn,
exactly.
right?
And you can always raise that by spending action point to spend with your wife
okay.
or concubine,
Yep,
or whoever you want.
Whoever you choose.
And basically, once those 4 squares are filled, we're going to stop rolling
Okay.
until a child dies, and then we're going to start to roll.
Gotcha.
You cannot have more than 4 children
Okay.
at a time. All right, so they have a score, so you can actually see the score of your kids and how good they will be. So at that point in the gender, you'll have to name them, and they will give you bonuses. So that's the fun part of having good children, is at one point, as they grow older, they'll start giving you bonus
Oh, right.
in administration, maybe bonus, in certain areas, certain skill set that they're good at. So making your character better.
Right.
So if you have 4 kids and they're all score of 1 or 2, they're going to take away from stuff.
Yeah.
But
Right.
if they're
They bring
7,
you down.
8, 9, 10, then at that point they'll be providing a bunch of things
And
to
that's
you.
all reflected here. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So you need to be aware.
Yeah.
The other part is your advisors. So your advisors see those person around the table around you in your court all the time.
Right.
So you have one that will tell you about war. I watched The Last Kingdom, and
Yep.
at one point he has the war room where he has those maps and those little chess pieces representing army. That's your guy. That's him.
Okay. Okay.
Your economist is your coin master or your steward.
Yep.
He's the one that always told you you're in debt or you need money and that costs money and you need to invest here and there. And your diplomatic advisor is the one that usually is a religious figure
Right.
or a
Cultural
culture figure
head.
that is whispering in your ear what the people are saying about you. And your social advisor is more of the person that will tell you about the disease,
Mhm.
of fires or of the living condition of your population.
Which you learn when you get into the city tabs individually, right?
Exactly.
We do have another question. So if a character dies and one of your children takes over,
Yeah.
does the children section kind of erase and they start a new line within that?
Exactly.
Therefore, then they can continue?
Exactly.
Good question,
And keep
dads.
in mind that if you die and you don't have children of age,
That's
which
it.
is 13, you're done.
Yeah.
So have kids early.
Yeah.
If not, and players will tell you, it doesn't matter the first 20 weeks. It will start
After the fact.
after.
Yeah.
When you're the top 5, you're getting close to that age. And we always lose one empire because he dies without proper
Without a line.
kids.
Without a line.
Yeah, and then that gives way to the 4 others.
Okay. Right.
So keep in mind that have your kids quick, because at 30, I'm rolling if you're a male. You're 18,
Yeah.
meaning if you don't have kids at 18, you better be 31, 32
And you're running the
passing
risk right
by.
afterwards. Yep.
So
Okay.
just keep that in mind. Not rushing anyone to have
Nope.
kids.
It's
just
good.
saying.
Good advisory. Point.
Stats is the next one.
Stats down here.
Yeah, exactly. So that's basically your personal statistics. Your strength, constitution, intelligence, willpower, knowledge, and presence. So when I said constitution, you can see now that I have my basic number, my 12s. Then I have points, which already has number in it.
Mhm.
That was defined by my culture,
Oh, interesting.
right?
Okay.
And if I'm a female, my constitution would be 5, not 2,
right.
because
in
I
here.
get the +3 there.
Yep.
And then I have my total. So what do? They each affect different things. They affect what you will have as statistic modifier. You can see it there, the number of points. So
Over here.
action points, they're there again. So my action points, I can get more action points if I invest in knowledge, intelligence, and will. And they're in order of importance,
Ah,
right?
Interesting. Okay.
And then my health is strength, con, and knowledge.
These three. Yeah.
So health, when is health important? Health is important if you get a disease or you duel, right? Because a pagan can duel to
Yep.
gain a city.
Yep.
So you fight it out. Your health is not as good as the other guy, and your strength is not as good as the other. You die.
He kills you. Yeah, of course.
So health, very important there. Also important in childbirth. So, for the ladies
Yep.
that's playing a female character, or men that's playing a female character. Immune system, very important too, because as you
Disease.
know, Casey, disease in the first 6 weeks of the game.
Super rampant.
And they go quickly, and if they're not controlled properly, they go to nation square, then to the nation themselves, then in all Europe. So you could be doing super well disease wise, but a player that's playing a nation down gets an outbreak in disease, doesn't control it, and all of a sudden you're stuck with a disease.
No way. Okay.
So then your immune system kicks in.
Takes that. Right. Okay.
And then you have your war, diplomatic, economy, and social. And we'll see they affect your score that are below, and we're going to speak
Yeah.
about them at one point.
Yep.
On the right-hand side, you have all your skills. So see as your stats, as your attributes. You're born that way, and you're working on yourself.
This is the real like role playing game as an individual
E-
character
exactly.
portion of it.
The skills are what you've learned in your life.
Mhm.
You will never have all those skills at 100%.
Nope.
You will define which one you want at 100 or at 50 or at 25. So I like war. Guess where I'm putting my
All
point?
in
And
there.
war.
Yeah.
I'm an economist. Economy it is. I'm a diplomat. Diplomacy it is. And I'm more social. Social it is. And again, the colors are out there to tell you where is what. So again, depending on what you want to do and how you want to play your game, you're going to invest in different skill. And they have a small description. But we can always talk about it.
Yeah,
when we do
this I would needle down with your admin when you get the chance to sit down with them. Depending on what your vision is, unless of course you're returning as an experienced player, you can ask those questions of like, how do I do better at this, or how do I do better at that? Oh, you'd want to raise this skill and you want to increase these stats and so on and so forth. And that's the really like handy thing about having FaceTime with you,
Yeah,
is that you can
exactly
guide it.
And just to kind of link two sheets together, under economy skills you have your currency skill, which needs to be at 50 to start your own currency that we
Mhm.
spoke in the record. So
Mhm.
if you were to start your money, because again your money is going to fluctuate, right? It can, because the world of Emperor is led by the large bronze, the LB. We will refer that all through the game.
Right.
So every cost, is in
Based
LB.
off of that.
But
okay.
if you do your own coin and it's worth more, your buildings are now costing less because your money is worth more, right?
Mhm.
So, but if it's worth less, then at that point you're more expensive. Everything's more expensive.
Right.
So is your army,
Right.
your
all of the things that you're going to
employees
be
and
buying
such.
for. Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
exactly.
yep.
So just keep in mind that if you start in money, you want to make sure that you have an economy to sustain it, so it's value at a certain point.
Yep.
So if we scroll down a bit, this is your final, it is your scores. Diplomacy score has been reviewed this year. As you can see, it got really busy
I
on
was just
that
gonna say
character
there's
sheet.
a lot more going on than last year. That's for
So
sure.
your diplomacy score is something you're going to use if you want to take over cities and
Hmm.
villages diplomatically, and we'll talk about it. It's with diplomats and things like that. And basically, the big news this year on diplomacy is if you take over a city and a village with diplomats, it doesn't declare war
Doesn't
on that
trigger war on
nation.
that nation.
So
Okay.
nobody would know except the player. So you can grow under the radar, through diplomacy.
Because
So,
the announcements would show. So just the announcement would show I attacked you. We declared war on you, or
yeah.
we have gone to war with you
So
specifically. But if we go in with diplomats, we can take over your city, and
exactly.
it doesn't declare it as in the announcements week to
Exactly.
week or
So
in the video at the end of the week.
I'm
Ah, right. Okay.
Sammy and I want to
Yep.
explore in Norway.
Yep.
I have to declare war on
Yep.
Norway to expand there.
Yep.
So 35 action point to declare
Yep.
war, but then everybody knows I'm attacking Norway. I am Sammy. No, they're not really good
No, I
diplomats.
was gonna say we
Let's
were
not
not.
take
I
that
was
one.
Sammy last year, so we were not diplomats at all. We could kill people, but that was
exactly.
something
Let's
else.
take the Song Dynasty,
Yeah,
a bit
fair.
better.
Yep.
Can send diplomats to Beijing, take one of their city, which the nation would not declare war on you because it's done diplomatically, right? And nobody would ever know.
They don't even realize that they're being taken
Yes.
over in the same way.
The
'Cause
the
they're
the only
politically.
thing with diplomacy, you can try it with a player, but it's really, 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 really hard. So if a player was to put a lot of point in diplomacy and go through that, know that once you contact a player, that becomes a bit secondary.
Yep.
So you
Yep.
have to play it, but you have to play it smart.
Mm-hmm.
We've never had a player win completely through diplomacy. The Pope, each time a Pope
I
wins,
was gonna say that.
I would say about 80% diplomats,
Yeah.
and then the 20% is economist or military. But the
Okay.
Pope is a perfect example of
Of
a great diplomat.
sheer diplomat. For
And
the
Derek's
length of
gonna
it.
hate me to say,
Yeah.
but Paul was an economist, but Derek is a diplomat.
Nice. Cool.
So him playing that, he's
And
playing
how do we
within his
stop?
strength.
And how do we stop diplomats
No,
into this
no, no,
issue?
I'm not saying that.
That's
But,
a
yeah.
next week conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough.
Um,
If we stop the Pope, then we figured it out. That's what we're gonna say.
Exactly.
until
Poor
then,
Derek.
until then, we don't know.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
Derek. I hope you're watching.
so war score, social score, all
Yeah,
score
yeah.
gives you bonus in your social skill, and all your skill, your stats gives you bonus in your also
Down
your
here.
skills. So let's take war skills up there.
Up here, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you see bonuses is the second column. You
Yep.
see some 2, some 4.
Yep.
So that's based out of your war score and your strength constitution. War is what? Strength, knowledge, and presence,
Mm-hmm.
giving bonuses to those skills.
Interesting.
So your economy score is there too, and economy scores is used to do buyouts. So buyouts is when you send Mercer. They're new this year. They're
Okay.
not called economists. Mercer sent to cities which existed. They were traders
They're
that
mer-
excel
yep.
in buying
Yep.
cities for
Okay.
the lords. So Mercer would come out and basically tell the
Make-
leader of that city, I'm going to give you so much money, but your city is now mine with your army. And that's a way of playing the game too as an economist. So you're not basically
It's not military, but you're
attacking
still,
directly,
yeah, yeah.
but you're still gaining. The drawback is you don't have to declare war, but as soon as you buy out the first city, that nation will declare war to you and will build an army to attack
Right.
you.
Yeah.
So
Retaliate.
If you're doing this, make sure it's a city that has value, so you don't get the whole nation.
Yeah.
And remember, certain nations are small, but other nations are pretty big. So when they turn around and build an army, it's a percentage of all the armies of all the cities. So you could be fighting an army of 250,000, like Fatimid Caliphate,
Yep.
which is 8 nation square. You
Right,
know, you
right.
start poking the bear. Compared to Flanders, that
And they're all
is
gonna turn on you.
25% of a nation
Right,
square. The retaliation is very different.
right. Okay.
So basically, that's your character
Yep.
sheet.
Awesome.
Then you go to your empire sheet.
Let's just
Oh,
give it 2 seconds
yeah.
and see if there's any questions. This is the end of the character sheet. We are going to go to the empire itself, and we do have a bit of a delay. I was just born that way. No, I'm kidding. It's just in the stream, so I'm kind of stalling and see if anybody does have any questions. If not, we'll just keep moving on. But
And if not, we can come
Yeah.
back. It's not-
again, you have lots of FaceTime with the admin, so that's no problem. Okay, empire.
Empire tab. Very simple this year. We took a lot of stuff off. The comment we had from players was, it's too busy. I can't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So we made it simple. So basically, this is a snapshot of what you have. So you have a city. My city one's there. You have population. The rest would be all put in, crime rate and all
Yeah,
of
okay, so
that. You can see my economy. How's my economy? My war kind of. So that will give you, when you have 15 cities, a quick look at where you need to address
Right.
issues.
Right. Oh, that's good. That was helpful.
If a city's not doing so well, that's where I would see it. If a city is doing super well, I need to protect it better, I would see that there.
Mm-hmm.
New this year, because we review the diplomacy section,
Mhm.
we can now vassalage AI.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
that's something you couldn't do. So I don't know if it's possible, Casey, to go back to our map.
Yes, just 1 second. We
Yeah.
did have a comment about a newbie tip. Sorry, I might have missed that one, Dabs.
I'm very curious to see who Dabs is.
Dabs, what's your name? I learned as a new player. Oh, invest in admin. So you did actually. We went over that.
Yeah.
Without mentioning. So I will go back. The administration is its own kind of standing section inside the character sheet, and I think that's what he's saying is to invest early as a newbie tip to be able to have more administrative AP action points. Pardon me.
So it lowers your admin cost of a city. But we have
It's
another
Michelle.
we have another surprise later on
Oh,
concerning
yeah?
that.
Okay,
We'll
okay,
see that later
okay.
on. So yeah, so going back to your empire tab,
Okay, let's
Um,
go back here. Sorry.
that's all good. You can vesselage AI. So if we can go back to the map, and I think that's where we were.
Yep.
Let's say I'm you right there.
Mhm,
That's
in
my
here.
city.
Yep.
And that's a major city. It's big. It's powerful. But I want more. I
Understandable.
want more, but I don't want to administer it.
'Kay.
So I could conquer Alger, I
Algiers,
think,
yeah.
and make it a vassal. So we can't vassal players anymore, but we can vassal AI. So what does it do? So we'll go back to our empire tab.
Interesting.
So what it's going to do, it's going to provide me income every single week.
Wow.
So providing money, it's going to cost me a bit of AP, but minimal points. But it's going to create a bit of rebellion, right? Because they are under my direct control
And
without me
you're not
controlling
doing anything
it.
about it. Sure.
So, so it's a new thing this year that we're trying. And now know that if you're doing a vassalage with AI, somebody can go in and buy it out.
Of course.
And then it becomes a vassal of their nation. Right?
Okay.
Because it was. So just keep in mind that all the things you're doing here and there
Have an
are
impact.
now,
Mhm, mhm.
doing. And there's expansion. We're speaking in years to come to have a leader of each city that can be assassinated. So you would have to replace them.
Right.
Not this year, but
No.
it's something. So basically, that's the new thing on the Empire tab.
It's awesome.
And at the end, you have an average of all your percentage
Sorry,
in
that's your-
crime
yeah.
and fire, and that's being rolled. So that's being rolled every week to see if your cities are getting a fire, disease, and stuff like that. So that's where it's being rolled. And when it's rolled, then we're going to inform the player at the update what happened.
Okay. Awesome.
So that's the Empire tab. That's quick and easy.
Mm-hmm.
Then the city sheet is the one with the most information, and you can spend hours looking at it and finding out stuff, and you can spend 15 minutes.
Yeah.
There's no requirement for the game, but this is where you're gonna get your information. So city one, I have just one city.
Yeah.
When you get major city, they're gonna be named.
Yeah, it would be a name here.
So at that point, you know it's major. So on the top is kind of a recap again. We like recaps. We have your income in LB, your income in grain. So right now I'm doing 26,600 in LB, but I'm negative in grain. So each player, you'll see on your sheet, you start with a net profit between 24 and $26,000. So right now I'm at what? 24?
That's 28 here, but
Yeah.
20 and minus the 4.
About
yeah.
24.
24-ish.
So that's my profit. I can raise that obviously different ways, and we're going to speak about it. The pink section beside it is what we call the central economy.
Mm-hmm.
So central economy, once I get big, I'm tired of investing because each city has their own treasury.
Mm-hmm.
So I use that treasury to build stuff in that city or hire army in those cities. But sometimes I don't have enough money, so I have to transfer from one city to the other.
Okay.
And I have to spend 10 action points to build something in that city where if it's centralized,
The currency travels or
Yeah,
can
exactly.
transferred back and forth.
So with a central economy, basically everything goes to your capital city. So all the money is stored there.
Okay.
So if somebody conquer one of your city, it has no resources, no
Right.
money, no grain left.
Right.
And basically from there, I can build in every city.
Hmm.
The drawback is you need road
Yeah.
to make
that,
your money.
That was what it was. I
And
remembered
roads
centralizing my.
make every unit double their speed.
Yeah.
So now you're giving a highway express to any invader with their army to get to your capital.
Right.
So be cautious of that.
'Kay.
But yeah.
We do have a question in the Empire tab,
Okay.
and it is a good one. It is important. The question was, what column on the Empire tab did Bruce say you can tell if a city needs some TLC? So that I would say that's your
So Bruce is me. I take it.
or Bruno.
Bruno,
Maybe
okay.
it was Bruno. No, it does say Bruce. Just saying.
It says Bruce. Hey,
Michelle, it's on you.
Michelle, Bruno.
Yeah.
We talk like every week for like 12 weeks. Calvin, you should know.
And I thought I'd be able to figure it out with a column name, but this is clearly not my forte. That's okay. That's okay. We're good. That's why we're here, and that's why we're doing the podcast.
Yeah.
We really do want to laugh at Bruno as much as we can, but also just to get the answers
Thank you,
to your
Casey. I
questions.
appreciate that.
I don't get to do it much during the day,
So
so
the columns.
they said, "Who's Bruce?"
So all right. So which column? Well, obviously the purple one is the
It's-
one.
I would say, like, I remember in one of my cities, like there was disease running rampant. Like I hadn't really paid any attention to what was going on in the cities. I just wanted to worry about my economy and keep moving my armies. And my disease percentage was like 100% or something. But I hadn't yet had a disease. So you said you need to, manage the creating canals and creating different things and hospitals, I believe, as well, potentially maybe. But it was like that was like these are the things that like I overlooked, but it certainly was a way to kind of keep my city safe.
Yeah, exactly. All the columns are important in the sense that, the green one would give you, is my money in deficit? Is it bringing money?
Mhm.
Does it has treasury? The red one, do I have spy, anti-spy? Oh, can we go back to the character sheet? I forgot an important thing here. If you go at the bottom, the new assassination
Oh,
and
shoot,
spy.
right.
Yeah,
An
let's not forget
anti-spy.
about that. So, for
for
experienced players,
first turn, don't
Yeah,
worry about it. It's
exactly.
not so important.
but well,
no, I'm
bodyguards
joking.
was
I'm joking.
screaming
I'm joking.
here.
I'm joking.
So, so in the game, another diplomatic way of killing players is sending assassins, and assassins now can kill more than just you. They can kill any wife. They can kill children.
So you're lying.
They can kill advisors.
Oh.
They can kill administrator, and we'll come to it. They
Yeah.
can kill general. So they can kill a lot of stuff. So every possible candidate to assassination can have their own bodyguards. So
Interesting.
so assassin is a big part of the game, and actually the special unit of one of the nation are Ashashim,
Mm-hmm.
which is specialized assassins, and they get really good role when
Right,
it comes to
right.
that. So I mean, kudos if a player took it, and you're gonna have fun. But bodyguards is all that system is counted from there.
Right.
Spy, anti-spy, where that becomes interesting is that you can send spy to a city to see what's in the city. Is the leader of that nation in that city?
Protected? Is he there?
So,
So on and so forth.
as I can send spy, I can hire anti-spy to counter that. But where it becomes also interesting is an assassin can kill someone, and the spy anti-spy percentage will let the world know if we found out who killed him. So let's
Okay.
say Bruno sends an assassin to Casey,
Mm-hmm.
successful, but your anti-spy were better than a spy.
Yeah.
Everybody will say Bruno killed Casey.
Yep.
Right out there for the world to see.
Yeah, because previously they wouldn't have known. It was a
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. And if I send an assassin in the past year, if I failed, it was announced. But if my anti-spy is better than your spy, if my spy are better than your
You
anti-spy,
get killed, but it doesn't get
You-
exposed
you-
that you were
or
trying.
I'm-
That you were trying.
yeah, exactly. I tried. An assassination attempt happened on Casey,
failed.
but we don't know
But
who sent it.
failed.
So is it an
Oh.
allied? Is it somebody that hated me? I don't know at this point. So
And your potential allies, because we
Yeah.
may speak about it too, is you can have alliances in the game. Would not
Paul
it would not expose
assassinated 3 players last year.
them. Wow.
Players,
Yeah.
not AI.
Yeah.
So don't take for a minute that your friends won't
Strictly,
kill you.
strictly, yeah.
They're
good.
out there. So I saw a lot of lions, and that makes me laugh because one player asked me, "What's the funniest thing that ever
Right.
happened?"
We did want to
right?
talk about fun stories. Yeah.
And one of them is that in the past years, a player could marry another player and become a big empire.
Okay.
So that's what happened.
Yeah.
And a week before winning, so it's the final combat. I'm readying all the paperwork to announce the world that they won the game. She hired assassin and
Oh
killed
my
them.
gosh.
So she won the game solo by killing him. Remember, he thinks he's winning. He's
Immediately,
waiting for me
like,
to announce it, and he dies off.
jaded.
Yeah,
I would be
they
so
never
jaded.
spoke about that. They never spoke about that. But that's kind of funny. So spy, anti-spy, assassin are very much part of the world. So I think it's Michelle that said hire bodyguards.
Yep.
She is not lying.
Yep.
Hire bodyguards.
Yep.
Now the question is, how many do you want? Right?
What's so yeah, and all of these scores are based off of a percentage, not just to 100. They can go over 100.
Yes.
Right. Your rating can be higher than whatever what you would think of as a max percentage. So just so you, don't limit yourself in that way and just go to 100. It can increase past that. Now, and that's a conversation again with the admin. You can.
Last year, the highest score was 294%.
Yeah, I remember it was pretty high.
So it's something to keep in mind.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So back to where we were, the city. I'm sorry, I get excited and
Yeah.
I pass over things. So basically, the top is your treasury, the type of wall your city has. That's important. We'll speak about it when it goes to war and sieging. And you have certain score that shows up. And you have the economy score, and you have the buyout in green, like bright green.
Yeah.
So what is the buyout number? We spoke about it. Is if an economist was to send Mercer to buy that city currently, he would have to spend 1,300,000 and some change in LB, and that city would become yours. So
and there's no defense to that.
there's no defense except your capital cannot be bought out. So
Okay.
if
Your
your
capital
capital
city that
is
you
where you reside. So
Yes.
if you're leading an army of 250,000 because you don't want people to buy it, your capital is a moving army.
Interesting.
So that where you're
Where
coming
that
from,
city
that
is.
city was your capital, could be bought out,
Right.
meaning you're left with an army. You better win that war because if not, you have no
You have
more
nowhere,
cities.
nowhere to go. Okay. Fair enough.
So
That's interesting.
yeah, so buyout is the way to.
And in terms of like, just because for the play side of it, if I choose I want to go and buy out a city, I don't know that it's yours or whomever's. How would I know that buyout value? Or I would send
So
diplomats.
first, spies
Right.
would give you that money, that amount.
That chance. Yeah.
Now you there's rule of engagement
Yeah.
when
That's
comes.
what I was wondering.
So diplomacy, economy, and social, they're all have their own sphere,
Mhm.
and they need to be unchallenged in that city to go through it. So if you have Mercer in all your city, and they send Mercer, who has the better score? Because if you do,
Right.
then they're challenged and they're all killed.
Theirs are all killed.
Yes.
Wow.
Diplomats is the same thing. So don't send diplomats to the papal state
To a
in Rome.
diplomatic
You
state,
won't
no question.
win. There's 10,000 priests there. So you're not going to win that. But so the unit needs to be unchallenged. The only one, well, actually war is the same because you send an army,
Then
you're challenging
value,
the
yeah,
higher
yeah,
value.
yeah.
So it's being challenged. So
Yeah.
so that's the type of thing. So economists are really good diplomats too. Why? Because they need good spies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So think about it. Paul won how? I said he was a good diplomat. So he had spies everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
With that spy system, he knew where weaknesses was.
Right.
And then he used his economy to buy them out or buy a big army to beat you to it. So that's how you would mix the two.
Right.
Now, other people won military or socially. It's your vibe.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying you need to be aware of all of those things.
Yeah,
And again,
yeah.
if you forget, there's a manual. And if you don't want to read the manual, you ask an admin. Diego will be really happy I said that. He's the one that, always refer to the manual and
of
has
course.
to look.
Go back, look it up.
Ask Diego. Ask
Ask
Diego.
We did have a question, and Sarah, I think, was making it more of a joke. She's like, "What if we send 10,001 diplomats? If you have that one more, the rating will beat them."
We'll see how the reading.
I guess it's also based on the role, right?
Yeah, it's based on
that-
the skill. There's no role. It's a
Yeah.
percentage.
Yeah.
So it's the final score. So let's hope you send that extra one. Let's see if it makes a difference.
Coming for you, Sarah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, still.
Oh, you said I'm coming for Sarah. I said I thought you said you had the answer. For
No,
Sarah.
no.
Okay, well, I would like to see that battle.
Yeah, no.
So now,
She's just laughing.
so we're going back to colors. Diplomacy, blue. You can see it. So this is where we were speaking about religion and culture. So on your religious side, you can see where my people are worshiping and what they're worshiping.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a religious score. It's super huge, 52%. I have religion that are opposed to me, being, Catholics, Orthodox, I'm pretty sure are against me.
Yeah, here.
And then I have a religion that are supporting me, the Shia, if I'm Sunni, or if I'm Sunni, Shia are of the Muslim branch.
Okay.
So would be supporting me. And there's religion I don't really have contact with, and they don't, one way or the other, they have impact, but not as many impact. So all the Buddhism branch or Hinduism would be one of those that has little impact on me.
And in terms of supporting or opposing your religion or even your culture when it comes to that,
Mm-hmm.
it's just involved if you're attacking those nations and then therefore creates more unrest within those nations, or like what, like when you
So there's different way that's going to happen.
yeah
You need population.
yeah
There's a nation right beside you,
Yeah.
has a lot of cities, a lot of population. You need that population. Wrong culture,
but there's
right religion. So you attack them, you bring them back. Good for you. But guess what? Your percentage just changed because you brought a brand new culture in your cities. Now
they're all-
unrest, and we'll speak about that, how
Yeah.
the unrest is created. Just know that religion is right there, and that's how. And there's a little marker called multiculturalism. Again, that's taking effect. That's a
Okay.
diplomatic
Okay.
thing. It's in the manual. It's under the new diplomatic section. And that's going to grow over the years. We
Okay.
kind of planted the seed there, and we'll see where it leads us.
Okay, great.
The next section is the same thing with culture. We're expanding the world. We have a lot more cultures.
Oh, that's
Again,
fun. Yeah, right.
right? So we basically finish Africa. So all culture that are there are existing culture in
Wow.
the 1100s. Um, for South Central and South America, they're all there. Thank you, Diego. He's from that part of the world.
Yeah.
Did some research, helped me. Fremp, a friend of mine, comes from Africa, helped me with that section.
Hmm.
So you have different cultures. And if you go to your right hand of the culture tab, you have your culture highlighted at the first line. It says
Oh,
empire
I got you.
culture.
Yep.
I'm Berber.
Yep.
Then my main culture, it gives me the percentage. So 70% of my population is from my culture. Then associated culture,
Oh.
20%, and associated, their name there. The four are named there.
Yep.
You may have more. Ask your administrator. It's just we have 4 blocks.
Sure.
And then my oppose culture are named, and they're also at the bottom. And there we were able to put more, meaning, I'm going to have a lot of those, so I need to keep my eye on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then other culture that has little to no impact. Multiculturalism is right there again.
Yep.
It gives me a little 15% boost. And then my culture score is name. So what does the religious and culture score give? Will go to civic rates, but at the bottom, there's unrest there. Unrest by the council, unrest by my wives, my concubine,
Okay.
my secondary wife that has a better score, by my children. So the better control I have over my council. So if my advisors are good, if I have a good wife,
Right.
if everything's in order, then that number's going down. Then you have your oppression score. So oppression is all the stuff like, do I have an extremely large army in a city that has like 15,000 population? Where my
Interesting.
soldiers are beating up my
Yep.
population.
Yep.
They don't care.
Eating all the food,
Yeah,
taking everything.
exactly.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
do I have a bunch of peelers, which are cops,
Yep.
in my city because I'm ruling with an iron fist? You
Mhm.
speak against me, I will find you. Kind of the Stalin type of approach.
Yep. Yep.
Where I have secret police and knowing everything, and people disappear in the night. Oppression score. And then I have my religious and cultural score. So all those score will define and give bonuses or malices. Is that minuses?
Minuses, yeah.
To my score over.
Mhm.
So crime, my fire rate, my fire spread. So those, that's usually where I get the question. What's the difference? The
Yep.
fire is to see if a fire starts. And then the fire spread define how much it will cost me.
Okay.
So once the fire is done, if I have a low fire spread, I had things in place to minimize the fire. It
Right.
didn't cost me that much. If it's really high, then you're going to spend millions on rebuilding your city.
On
which is
recovery.
not- yeah.
Yep.
Disease. It's fairly simple. Fear is caused by oppression, right? Fear of being killed in the
Beaten down,
night,
killed and taken away, and
exactly.
yep,
So
going hungry.
there it is. And happiness. Well, if you want your people happy, you certainly want a religious, a cultural score that are high,
Right.
and you want low unrest. Rebellion. Well, right now I have 70% chance every week of my population wanted my head on a silver platter. Not really good. So again, need to work on my happiness and on my fear and my oppression
Right.
to be able to, manage that better. Then your immigration rate. If nobody likes you, nobody wants to immigrate to your city. And then your birth rate. Well, if everything's low, they don't want babies. They
Right.
want to flee. So
Right.
at that point, so your 4 score at the bottom are
The reflection.
the
of this.
reflection.
Okay.
So beside that, you have your population. We broke it down for you.
Mhm.
Men, women, children, elders, how many birth, how many immigrants, how many death. And then at the bottom, it says population growth. Right now, I'm losing 1,800 people
year.
a year.
Phew.
a week. So let's change
Or, yeah,
that.
sorry.
And then I have my net population. I'm really happy. I'm gonna flag it. You said it before me, the F bomb. I
Oh,
just wanted.
shoot.
I feel a
Sorry.
lot. I
Sorry.
feel a
I was
lot
hol- I was
better.
holding
I
that.
was so nervous to say
I
it
was
first.
quiet. Mine was
I just
quiet.
want to flag it, so it's you first, so I
Yeah.
feel more comfortable there.
We were worried about who was gonna curse
Yeah,
first,
exactly.
and I definitely let one slip. So
So then beside it, you have even more information, on what social class they're in. You're self-employed. Self-employed are like the merchant, the
Yeah.
local merchant. You want that high. Unemployed, meaning you can hire them in your army or to do a specific job. The percentage of working people. And then the number of soldiers or potential soldiers that
This-
city can be recruited.
this
And
is
that's
an
going to be
important one. This is an important one.
That's
This
the
is
number
you need this
wanna-
number to be
yeah,
high so
yeah.
you can hire more soldiers.
So
Just
you need more
Pay
population.
attention to that. You need this to be up so you get more people and you can hire a bigger army.
Exactly.
If that's your choice. Oh, Dan's offended. Sorry, Dan.
So next tab to your city is the food section. That is an important one too. They're all important, but it's going to define how you get your food. So city possible land. People get confused with that and city land available. So city possible land
It's down
are
here.
actually the number of farms, the number of forests that you can exploit,
that you can.
that you can. It
Can.
doesn't mean you're doing it,
That's right.
but that's the maximum numbers.
Right.
On your city land available is the number that are available to be exploited. Right now, as you can see, my farming is at 0.
Right.
Because if you look at my farms on the left,
Here.
I already have 130. You see that, Casey? Right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So of my possible land, I had 130. I'm already having 130, so I have 0 available farm to build.
Right. Okay.
All right. So that's how you make the math around it. What's possible? Is there anything that's possible that I already didn't haven't touched? Like my forest, I didn't touch.
Yeah.
So I could build lumber mill, I could build stuff, and that number would get lower and lower until it comes to 0 and I can't exploit it anymore.
Right.
So food, we have a lot of options. And players, let me tell you, go everywhere with that, and that's pretty exciting.
Mhm.
You can do the basic farming. I say basic, but it's a very efficient way of getting grain. That and fishing, and you see the type of fishing: coastal, deep
Mhm.
sea, lake, and river.
Mhm.
And again, it refers back to your map. If you have some blue, meaning you have some water, so it's going to be reflected on your sheet there.
Okay.
And then you have alternates because people wanted to be able to do other things like
Farm.
bovine.
Yep.
And some of you, I do apologize, I write it in French. I'll switch it. I think it's Bovin, bovine, which is French. Bovine is in English. I'll
Yeah.
add the E, don't be mad. So you can have bovine, you can have pigs and chickens. So that's a good way to create. So your farms would have to create hay to be able to have those farming animals. So it has a circle, it has its own guidelines and structure. Then you have hunting, sheep, wool, and milk and cheese. And that is a nice thing
Okay.
in the emperor in the sense that they can do money or they can do grain. So you can export it or you can eat it.
Right.
And they have certain, if you're an economist, maybe better to sell it. If you're less of an economist, better for the grain.
Right.
So there's a way of exploiting that too.
Yep.
And it creates, and we'll speak about it, it's going to stimulate your economy and your
Yeah.
markets, right? And
Yeah.
we'll come to that shortly. And the last one in the food section is the barley. Barley farms
Up
are
here.
for food, for alcohol. Yes, you can brew your own alcohol and sell it. So it's a good way to do income too with farms if you're not using them.
Yep. Agreed.
So that's the food section. It's pretty straightforward. I think it didn't change in the past 5 years. So it's pretty solid component of the game. So after that, that's fairly same info, different package.
And maybe for like newbie stat on something that I missed until I kind of had a bit of time where I felt like my empire was a little bit more stable was I kind of overlooked the food and the farming almost completely until I said, okay, I need to kind of ensure that my grain was sufficient for the army size that I had. Because I had a
Yes.
big army, but they were eating everything. So I had to keep taking cities. And then I was like, how can I make this sustainable? And then until then we kind of needled down to say, okay, you need to kind of invest in the current cities that you have. And then we looked at what options there were. So there might be some potential for players to do that earlier on with lower action points and kind of invest for the long-term gain from that.
And also remember, I'm gonna put a complex situation there. You can terraform. You can take a deep forest, make it a light forest, make it
Cultivate, yeah,
a plain
right.
to a farmland, which will raise the number of farms you can have.
Yeah, and I think we did. We ended up doing that as well as kind of increasing the stands that and you're going to speak to the markets in a second. So it was I didn't have my head even in it to figure that out. So unless I like had it earlier in the motion that I was going through, but it worked out well in the end. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So the next part is the economy part, but it's also your brand new infrastructure section. So again, all the
Okay.
information's there. It didn't change, but it was presented differently. So on top, you have your markets. For all new players, your markets are the vital part of your economy.
Yeah.
It's the beating heart of your money. So the way you read that line, and trust me, you have players that played for 10 years still having issues with reading that line. So
Yep.
number of markets right off the bat, one. Each market has 100 stands. So think of it as a bazaar that has little, shops.
Yep.
Each bazaar has 100 shop to be
Mhm.
rented. So right now I have 94. So it says stands built. I have 94. Total stands, I have 94. Stands possible minus 47. That means that my economy is not strong enough to
fill.
get more. When it's going to pass the number 94 is when I know I can expand up to 100. So I could build another market, get another 100 stand, but still unable to build more stands because my economy is not strong enough, right?
Okay.
So stand open right now, my economy is so shitty that of my 94, only 47 has merchant in place right now selling shit.
Right. Yep.
So tax, because that's how I get my money.
Yep.
Each time a merchant sells something, I charge him 50%.
You want your piece, yeah.
So that's how you get money from market, and that's how you get basically your
Coin.
revenue.
Yep.
So then eco is your economy bonus, which is 8, which is not that good. Your traffic is 18, which is low, which is not that good. Meaning my people don't even have enough money to go to
your
more
market
markets
to buy
and
something.
buy stuff, so I can charge 50%. So that's how you would read it. And then your rent is how much they pay to rent the stall. So imagine you're double
I didn't
dipping
even
right
know
now.
that.
So
Okay.
you're charging rent and
And then you're taxing them
then you're
on what they sell.
taxing on the profit,
Brutal.
which was in the time the same way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can understand how those people. So then you have your income right there, and then trade routes. So I'm gonna kind of switch to trade routes, which is there below the taxes in your economy rate, the bottom right,
Down
of
here.
the section.
Yep,
So
yep.
if I'm an economist, I have Mercers. If I have Mercers, I'm able to do economy, treaty, and alliance, meaning I can start selling stuff I'm producing to other cities.
Okay. Sure.
They don't give me money for it. What they're going to do is my Mercer, they're going to create trade routes, which means I will have traders coming in and creating more stands on top of my 100.
Right.
So I cannot build more than 100 stands for one market. That's the
The
maximum.
capacity. Yeah.
But if I have a trade route and they bring 10 extra stands, then I'm 110 stands out of 100.
Okay.
Those 10 stands may apply to more than one market. So 200 becomes 220, 300, 330.
Interesting.
And if I start doing trade routes with more and more people, then my 100 becomes 150,
Mhm.
175. Now we've modified it because thank you to some economists that I
That
will not name,
exploited the game.
Francis McLaren.
Yeah.
He went overboard, and every stand he had an extra stand.
Of
So
course.
every market was giving him 200 stands. So we had
Yeah.
to kind of
Yeah.
revisit the rules. But yes, there's possibility there for sure to make more money.
Yeah. Poke holes in the plan.
Yeah,
Make
exactly.
your
Make
loopholes.
me work.
Yeah.
So the worth is the worth of the market. Why do we put worth? And we'll have structural, you'll see it, the value of all passive. It's because it counts for your coin. It counts also for your buyout,
Your value. Yeah.
and it counts for your stability of your empire.
Yep.
So it's important. Those are important numbers. Then your upkeep. How much does the market cost you to keep standing?
Yep.
And
that's
then
just your
the
percentage.
upkeep
Okay.
percentage. So that's how you would read the market line.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, people look at how much money it's bringing,
That's all that matters.
the upkeep,
Yeah, the rest of
and
it
how
doesn't
many
ma- the
you
rest
have.
of it
The
doesn't
rest
matter.
you don't
Does
need
not
to
matter.
worry about.
All I'm taking from
If
this
you're
is
an
how much does
economist,
it
though,
make?
you're
Yeah.
watching that line
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
But if you're not, don't feel bad about it.
Yeah. No.
Right below it, it's all the infrastructure. What's new this year is we follow the color theme, the 4 spheres.
Smart. Yeah.
So on the left, all the red, you see all the war infrastructure. Barracks, which trains your military. Docks, that lets you upload and download soldiers from boats. Shipyards makes you build
your
ships.
Yeah.
Outposts, port, and stronghold are all little structure to detect military unit. And now
Oh.
explorers and explorer ships, because explorer ships are also a military, right? Exploration is
Yep,
military.
yep.
So at that point, you can explore and do some good stuff with that. And then below that, you have your academy. So something that people need to understand, especially the new players,
Yep.
if you're building an army, you can only hire light or medium until you build academies. Academies will let you build siege engine, will let you build heavy cavalry, heavy infantry, heavy archers, and will make you build special units. So each culture has their own special units. They are in the manual. Another little spoiler. We're revising that too.
Nice.
So at that point, we're building another system that's going to be even more complex when it comes to fighting. So we're revisiting, but special units now has recon as special title. Scouts or recon, they can hide
Yep.
under a certain amount. Scout
Okay.
detects recon. We have the cross units, which, for example, the Nubian spearmen
Mhm.
are infantry, but that act in turns as archers. So they play first,
Yeah. Okay.
but they're
cool.
considered. So that would be a
super
cross.
early action points to attack early.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's very exciting.
cool.
So your special units, I mean, let's be honest, the berserkers, just kill everything.
Yeah.
The Teutonic Knight are renowned. The Winged Hussar. We have the Yan Juggernaut in Asia.
Cool.
That is kind of a mix of a trebuchet ballista, which is pretty cool to have. The samurai, the elephant cavalry in India, that is huge and
Yeah.
unkillable. So
There's lots of
Yeah,
different based on the nation.
and there's the Ashashin, that is not really a military unit, but that will kill pretty much everybody for you.
Okay.
So they all have special unit, and then you have your walls, right? So what you need to understand is that if you have a wooden wall, I don't need any siege engine to get into you. I attack the city and I just kill you. It's an open field type of scenario. If you have a small stone wall, I don't need siege, but I'll have penalties attacking you if I do without siege.
Right.
Medium, large, and huge walls are the medium, you need at least ballistas. Large, you need at least catapults. And the huge one, you need trebuchets.
Cool.
Only 4 cities starts with 4 walls right off the bat. It is Novgorod, where the Patriarch is, Rome, where the Pope is, Shanghai, and New Delhi. Only 4 cities.
Cool.
The rest have between 1 and 3.
Okay.
Like Paris and London has 3. And then depending on your nation, like if you played Flanders, Lille as one, it's
Right.
a major city, but it's so small,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
small nation. So everything's relative there. And then you have the start of the social infrastructure.
What's up here?
So you have, yeah, and you have a bit at the bottom there.
mobility. Yep.
The bridge, the canal, the roads,
Okay. Okay.
right? Roads, we spoke for central economy, but roads are great to move your army around because it doubles the
The
movement
mobility.
rate of that unit.
Yep.
Canal crosses rivers. And no, sorry, canal, you can link two body of water by a canal, and then your ship can cross it. So you need extra shipyard, not a problem. I have a city on the lake. I'm going to build a canal to a river that goes to the ocean.
And gets 'em
And then
all.
I can actually build a bunch of ship in my lake without you knowing. I have the biggest armada that you've never seen. And then, you start attacking me thinking I have no ship, and then boom.
Everybody
So-
shows up. Yeah.
Yeah. And the bridge crosses the rivers.
Yep.
Then you have infrastructure that attacks your civic rates, right? You have the aqueducts, the sewers, the wells, the public bath, the hospitals, the jails, the tribunals. So you can
Your
attack the
research.
crime rate. The research center, we saw in the records
Mhm.
that you could have researchers. If you have a research center, you can have researchers
Mhm.
making your research going faster. So that is your social infrastructure. Then you have your economy infrastructure. So your fishing boats, because food is money in medieval time, right? So your fishing boats, your farm, your pasture, those are automatically put in
Okay.
when you buy them in the food section. Um, and then you have banks, you have mints to do your money, you have trade center. Trade center, you can go from LB to grain. If you have a surplus in money and you need grain, you can start transferring. So you
Okay.
do your own back and forth depending on what you need, your central bank. And then you can have mine and refinery if you see resources. So on your map, you can actually try to find resources.
Okay.
And we'll see how later on. And once you find them, you can exploit them. So the square would be like dark orange, and it's going to tell you what resources like iron, salt, clay,
Right.
or whatever resources there. And you can mine it and refine it. So what's the difference between the mine and refinery? Mine, you get the basic value for it.
Yeah.
The refinery gives you the extra bonus, right?
Yep.
It's like you found the diamond, then you
Smelting
polish
and-
it, type of
yeah,
thing.
Sure.
Then you have your lumber mill that goes with the forest, and your brewery, which comes from your Bailey.
Cool.
So all ways of making extra cash. Building a thing like that will stimulate your market,
That's what I was
stimulate
gonna
your
say is
economy.
If you input stuff into here, it's going to increase in
Exactly.
your market, and then it's going to come back.
Exactly.
To basically
Just-
mean more money.
Exactly, just like your hunters would.
Yeah. Cool.
So after that, you have your diplomatic infrastructure. So we spoke about your religious score. We spoke about your cultural score. That's how you change that, make it possible for you.
This will all get affected.
Yeah. So
Okay.
if you build a church or a temple or whatever, they're going to start converting your population to the religion you want. So let's say I'm Catholic.
Yep.
I'm going to build Catholic church, and my population will slowly migrate towards Catholic. What does it do? Unrest going down, religious score going up,
Yep.
happiness going out, fear going down, and rebellion
Decrease-
percentage
decrease.
going down.
Yeah. Right.
The bazaar, library, statue, and school does the same thing, but for culture. So my culture is Berber. I have a lot of Galician, I think they're called, or whatever other culture. It could
Okay.
be Mongolian or whatever, and I need to convert to my culture because, again, my unrest is high.
Mhm.
My everything's high, so I would build some of that stuff, and that will affect it. And also, if I build statues, it's a good way of getting the cultural leadership we were speaking in the records of being the renowned culture of my nation. That's how I would do it. So
I just have to beat the one that has the biggest score, and I will never tell you how much the other one
I was just gonna say, yeah,
invest.
you don't get to
No.
know how big the other ones are, right?
So that's that.
Mm-hmm.
On the right side, we have a bunch of economists, so I always put more. So on the right side, you have your total upkeep, structural, your wage in LB, your tax in LB, your wage in grain, your tax in grain, your local trade, and your income per population, which right now they're not even doing
That's
a
less
buck.
than 1 per. That's not
That's
good.
not good. Not doing well. And then I have
Huh.
tax rates. I'm pretty much 50 all across, and upkeep is 10%. You can change your tax. Just know by raising tax, you create some disaster for you. Lowering tax, you make people happy, but
Mhm.
then you don't get as much money.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's modifier because my skill, remember my skill in my character
Yep.
sheet, if my skill are better, you'll see that 50 going to 53, 54. It's not that I'm raising the tax, it's the modifier showing efficiencies.
Affecting it. Okay.
So if I'm efficient with the tax and it all comes in, the tax collector didn't stop at the end where I have some L, then at that point I'm doing better.
Right.
And then we have the economy rates. Those are pretty standard. Eventually, there are going to be moving, fluctuating real time with what players do. So if everybody's
okay.
producing milk, at that point that's
The
going to
value
go
should
low.
go down, right?
And then same thing with wood. But right now it's static. It's the same. It's going to fluctuate. I'm not saying it's going to go up, and it will, but it will be doing so at key moments that me and Diego decide.
Yep, I like that. That's cool.
All right. So that is your economy section. That is your money section.
Yeah, this whole spot here.
Yeah. Then we scroll down and we have employment. Oh, look, it's purple saying it's social.
Mm-hmm.
So those are considered your employees. So I can build stuff and get people to work in them, or I can hire them right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
So on the left side, it's all purple. It all stuff that affect social rates or social points. So doctors, if I build a hospital, doctors will be higher. They lower, disease rate. Herdmen, hunters, innkeepers, lumberjack, messengers. Messengers, if I have an alliance, we can open a little chat and start talking. At that point, everybody has to have messengers.
Yeah, that's a neat thing to add, that if either when you have alliances or when in previous years when you had vassals, you were able to create kind of like a separate messenger chat where then you can have conversations about the strategy and the plan moving forward, which was a neat little added thing that I got to be witness to for about a week. Then I was gone, but it was well worth it for that time.
So peelers are cops. Like I said, they affect your crime rate. Rat catchers, your disease rate. Researchers, if you have a research center. Upkeepers are defined by the computer. It's by your upkeep. So more building you have, the more upkeepers you'll have. And Vigile, for those who are asking, they're firefighters. So we tried to put medieval terms, and some of them didn't pick up. So we went back to traditional, like doctors.
Yeah.
Then you have brewers, you have innkeepers, which is your brewery and stuff like that. Then on the other section, so again, coming back to the four sphere, you cannot have a diplomatic unit interacting with a military unit.
They're together.
They won't interact. They won't play together.
Right.
So this is what we consider social employment, meaning they will only interact within themselves. We don't want them to be involved in any type of war. So you can't kill their cops. You can't put poison in their well and stuff like that.
Right.
Those are standard. They play in their own little world. All they do is they manage your civic rates.
Right. Keep those numbers where they want
exactly. Where we're still in employment, but we changed blue, meaning those are uh, diplomatic units. So they play together. Assassin
Mhm.
against bodyguard,
Mm-hmm.
you know, spy against anti-spy, and we have priest there because
That's
Priest-
interesting.
priests can be sent
Can be.
as diplomats,
Yeah.
right? So priests, as they are sent by the Pope, for example, he has to define: are they
What
priest
are they
explorers?
going? What are they going for?
Are they priest diplomats? Or are they priest mercers?
Ah, interesting.
So he has to define what they are and in which sphere they're playing in.
right.
So right now, if they're in the blue, they are diplomats. So doing diplomatic.
Right.
So spy and anti-spy plays with assassin and bodyguards, right? In the
And-
sense that they will detect the
Yeah.
assassin,
Yeah.
you know. Then priest plays with diplomats. So you could have diplomats challenging priests and priests challenging diplomats, right? So they play within their own sphere. And then you have the green section, the economists. They play in their own little field. So you have bankers. Then you have
brewers, bankers.
Chapman, coiners,
Yeah.
engineers.
Yeah.
So engineers are the one that you would send out in your nation square to discover resources.
Oh, interesting. Okay. To see if
Again,
there's
in the
things to-
manual, they're all
to
explained, so
mine
don't
and not-
worry.
Yep.
You have your mercers, you have your miners, you have your transport, because if you want to transport, if you have a trade route, you need transport. And guess what? In the military section, you can now raid. You can
Oh,
raid
fun.
what?
Cool.
Transports. So if you have a central economy, don't even want to attack your
You just
cities.
shut
I'm
down-
going to
shut
hit
down
your
their route-
transport.
Shut down the routes. Yeah, sure. I like
So-
it. I like it.
So, and you have recon units that are not detected below certain numbers, like 5,000 in deep forests are non-detectable.
Oh,
So I'm going to
interesting.
use those units to attack your central economy. So
Coverage.
that money, instead of going to you,
Never
are
makes it
coming
in.
to me.
Yep.
And you go into a deficit, you can't pay your military, so on and so forth. So keep in mind, raiding, transport.
Interesting.
All right.
Interesting.
Now, the second surprise. I think we're down at the second surprise. The administrator.
Yeah.
New this year. If you hire an administrator,
Oh.
he will lower your AP cost to a city from 5 to 3. No, lower and min cost to city
By
by
three,
3.
by three.
So to 2. So meaning you can now have more cities. So if I have a good administration skill, a great
You can knock it
active
off.
partner, good children, and I have an administrator, that cost could be almost be 0.
It
that
can't
mean-
be negative. Can
No.
it return more?
No, don't be like that.
I
Don't be
gotta try
greedy
what we
like that.
can. You
Yeah.
never know.
But it could be close to 0.
Right.
Meaning you could have a lot more cities.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
I know players are getting excited. I will have like 50 cities, but remember, they all have civic rates. They all have their own problems.
Right.
So you will have to manage
the
50.
AP that will take it will be a lot.
Just keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first surprise. Then we go into military, red. So there it is, the war section. So on the right, you have your land units, infantry, cavalry, archers, siege engine. Then your special unit. For me, it's the camel rider.
Mm-hmm.
It gives me the stats like HP, the number I have, the breaking morale. That's very important. The training they have, the movement. So movement is by regional square. So the little square.
The small one. Yep.
So how does it work? I have 20 movement. I would count 20 square. That's as far as they can do. They could do 9 attack and 9 to come back. That's 18. I've attacked. That's 1 square. So that would be 19. So it would be fine. So just keep in mind, that's how we know how far.
Mm-hmm.
And my camel riders cannot go through mountains. So anything great, they have to go around. My attack and defensive score, 40-10. And the cost in LB and grain, they cost me. So every camel rider
Per
costs
unit.
me
Per unit.
133 of
Yeah.
each.
Yep.
Then you have transports. Yes. Transports are now automatically added because your army needs to eat and your army needs to get paid.
Yeah.
And guess what? You have 250,000 and the transport are usually at the back.
Yeah. Of course
I
so.
have some, Jaguar Warrior in deep jungle. I have 2,500 of them and you have no more transport. How the hell are you paying your
Where-
army,
yeah.
buddy? So, rating, if you read it, it has to do with transport. You have a transport, you can rate it. Now, 250,000, I raid your transport, the army's around. May not be
It's
the
a big- it's
biggest
a pretty big
move ever.
risk, yeah. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, of
It's like,
course.
maybe not do that, but it's still a transport.
Okay.
On your right hand side, you have your ships. So that are you can have generics ships. It's gonna say small transport, small warship, medium warship.
Mm.
Because of the barber culture, I get specialized shipped
A
to
lot of
my
them too. Yeah.
so there it is. Some have special unit ships, like the Sami have the dragon ships,
Mhm.
and I think England has the Great Karak, and so on and so forth. So if you have a special unit, you need to research it. So special units, land or naval, you have to research it, and it's part of your research tab in the record sheet.
And does it also need an academy?
It needs an
So
academy
when you do
to
research
produce.
and start your academies
exactly.
early to be able to get
And
your
for-
special units.
And
yeah.
for the special unit C, you need a shipyard.
'Kay.
All
right.
right.
That makes sense. Not the academy.
And not for ships.
Just-
Ships
yeah,
are
just want
docks
to
and
differentiate
shipyard,
it.
right?
Yep.
Perfect. And each ship has different thing. You can see that in the manual. Some, I think it is the Chinese, the Yan culture. I think all their ship can carry troops. I think
Oh,
that's
neat.
their
They work
advantage.
as transport too. I gotcha.
And some can go in rivers.
Because that was something too that I had to learn, obviously, as I was playing. But like the small transports have a specific
Mhm.
capacity that they can carry.
Where it says carry,
yeah.
you have
So
their
that's
numbers there.
this stat here.
Yeah,
but all
exactly.
these other ships below cannot carry any troops at all.
That's
They're just
correct.
warships specifically. But
Exactly.
that's something that's good for them to to know as well.
And now you have the general. Fairly third surprise. That is new again this year.
City General. Oh,
City General.
I see.
So what's the difference between the war advisor and the general? I will take the gladiator, not the second one. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. But
Yeah.
the first one,
Yeah.
you have Caesar in his wagon.
Yeah.
There's people around him talking to him.
Yeah.
Those would be their advisor.
Yeah.
So you would be
Oh, and
Caesar.
then he has his
The advisor are in the wagon, and the general is
his
Maximus. That's there with his
Decimus
people.
Aurelius. Yeah.
So what does a general
Interesting.
do? A general does several things. One, it makes it a lot higher to buy out an army because yes, you can buy out an invading army and make it yours and send it back to its owner. So a general will make that very hard to do.
Interesting.
Second, it has a defending and attacking square. So its specialty could be infantry. So, and he could have a +1 attacking, defending, and infantry.
Okay.
What does it mean? It means
Against
that
infantry?
if you're sending infantry and he's leading them, he's going to give them 1% bonus
Ah,
in attack and defense
Morale and- okay. All right.
to
okay.
help them out.
Yep.
All right. And you can only have one. I know it says a number sign. You cannot have 10. You can only have one per city. And you cannot have an army in one city and the general in the other and said that general's leading that army. Not how it works.
No.
They're going to lead the army in that city.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And the administrator and the general all cost a lot of money. It's
Of course.
100,000 LB and 100,000 grain. So if you want them, great, but you better have the economy to sustain it.
Yeah.
The last part of this city page is your village. So that too got modified. We took every civic rate out and population out. Your village is completely linked to your city now. So
Okay.
on your map, you will see villages. They're pink and there's a V in it, or
Mhm.
big villages are like purpley. That's what we're referring to. Not at all. A village is a village that you're building that is close to your city,
Within.
that is exploiting the same resources as your city. So you're doubling down. So if you could build 200 farms in your city, you can build 200 farms in your village, which means now you have 400 farms accessible to you. Same thing with fishing, same thing with the lumber mills, same thing when it comes to brewery and things like that. It's mainly done to capitalize on food or money.
Right. Doubling it up. Yeah.
That
Yep.
is all. If your city gets conquered, your village comes with it.
Of course. Yeah.
You cannot just attack the village, you have to attack the city. Because the idea behind it, and that happened in medieval time, people see an army coming. They're not stupid. It's
Mhm.
big. It does sound, and it has a presence.
Yep.
So your people from your village will all retreat in
Yeah,
your
of course.
city.
City walls.
So
yeah.
at that point, you attack the village. Basically, you're doing
Everybody's
nothing.
in there regardless. Yeah.
exactly.
Fair. Okay.
So don't ask.
It's-
Well, you can ask the question. The answer will be no.
no
You
one's going to
can't attack.
defend your village.
Yeah.
The villagers are all going to go into your city, and that's it.
Exactly.
We do have a question.
Yep.
It says, "What ships can go on rivers versus oceans, or are they all ocean only?"
No, some can go in rivers, and some can are ocean only. So all ship except exploring ship, and I skipped that section. We'll go back to it.
Okay.
Can go in rivers. Now I don't know which culture, and again, you can look in the manual. Some of them allow certain ships to go in rivers, and we can look at the manual later on.
Sure.
And just look at it quickly and let you know. But some are, but mainly exploring ship can go in rivers.
Yeah.
And you have your fishing ship, but
Yeah,
they're not military.
They're not
so,
military. They're not
So
going to
there's social unit, and social unit don't play a role in anything. So exploring unit,
That's here.
yeah, exactly. They're part of the military, and that's why I skipped them. I'm not used to seeing them there. Are all there. So you have your exploring ships, the cost, and their percentage, because they can be attacked, right? So an explorer ship that goes and it goes into a nation square, and there's warships in there. It gets destroyed. You don't get the square, right? That's why we made them military.
Yep. Same unit.
And then you have your explorer priest that are now able to be killed. And you have your explorers and horse explorers. So explorer priest and explorers are your one nation square at a time.
Yep.
Your horse explorers are double up,
Mm-hmm.
but they're more aggressive and looking for trouble.
Yeah. If they encounter anybody, they fight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think, and we can look that in the manual, I think if they die, the horse explorer, you still have the square. Or you get the square previous to. I think they do 2 square. The first one you would get. The second one they die, you wouldn't get.
Mm-hmm.
Ships, again, military, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can explore, and they go quick because explorer ship explore in nation squares. They don't explore into rigid. Oh, they all do nation square.
Right.
My
I was
bad.
going to say, yeah.
Yeah. So
It does say 8 nations square. But
yeah,
that seems
exactly. And they
massive.
do that in a straight line.
Okay.
So you have to do a straight line. If they follow the coast in the manual, I think they say they reduce speed. I think they give 6.
Right.
It's still a lot.
Which is fair. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. So you can define kind of the border of
mhm.
the coastal place. And if they can engage in rivers, then at that point they can give you quite a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. Cool.
So that would be the explorer units. So basically, those are your sheets. And that's what the material we're going to be using. And each time you have a new city, a new tab will appear at the bottom. It's going to go record, character, empire, then city 1, then city 2, city 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on how many you have. And when you conquer another player, all that data is being transferred to their sheet. So you go from 5 city to 28. And you're like, that's way too much. I need to burn some. I need to change stuff. You spend AP trying to reorganize while somebody else trying to kill you.
Yeah.
So basically, that's it. So
That's when it becomes too much. That's when when you take somebody, even if they have an alliance and come back to get you the very next week, that's when you're like, okay, this is a lot to try and handle and to juggle. It's fun, but it's That's where I felt like, oh gosh, I had 10 cities and I was trying to increase a revenue and get that economy going, and it was a lot to take on. It was cool.
With
I liked it.
with APs, right? Everybody has limited
Yeah.
APs, so thus putting your priority
Yeah.
where you want it.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the scene. All right, do you want to look at any more of these sheets?
No, if we don't have any question, or even if we do, we can go back.
Sure. Does
If
anybody
need be.
have any questions? We'll go back to here.
We can certainly, if you want me to go in a specific section of the manual and discuss that, we can
Mhm.
certainly do that. But
We can show the manual for sure. I know that we wanted to speak to it. Bruno did a really good job, like using tabs so that it's really easy and quick to maneuver through it and get the information. Yes, very specific. It was brutal. But yes, that's just my experience. But yeah, does anybody have questions? We're sitting at 10 viewers, which has been great. We can take any questions or review any past questions that we have.
and I think we had collected some questions.
Yeah.
Maybe go
Let
through
me pull up
those.
my page. This is we're still live, but that's okay.
Okay. So yeah, so like I said, for new players, and if you're watching, it's okay to just take it one step at a time. And the manual is big. It's a reference material. Don't try to read it and
Know it all by
know
heart.
it all.
No,
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 it
no.
won't happen.
Yeah.
All
right, we're getting questions. That's great. Okay, so IRODT SBX wrote, can land troops go anywhere on the map? And then I think that kind of relates to that is there terrain that can't be traversed?
Excellent question.
Yeah, I agree.
I forgot about one. So you have two type of terrain that you cannot cross.
Okay.
You have the ice caps. So if you take Norway, there's a huge mountain edge there.
Range, yeah.
So you could do light mountains. Heavy mountains, you can build roads to go across it.
Okay.
But ice cap, you cannot cross.
Okay.
Do not confuse ice cap with snow. They're both white. Snow you can cross,
Okay.
but ice cap you cannot.
Okay.
So that's something. And land units can only go on land.
Yep. Yep.
So at that point, don't make a French unit cross to go attack England. Not how it works.
Yeah.
You would need
Yeah,
boats.
you need transport.
That's when transport. And they can cross 1 square of river water. So diagonally, if they have, but ask your
yeah,
man.
that might be
He's gonna tell you. It's a lot easier.
situational or
But yeah, they're really on land only.
next question was, do we need to rule from a city or a big city?
Okay, so the ever-going debate is no, that's fine. I start in a city and I want to grow that city, build walls, and make it my own capital and see it grow. You can do that. Or you can jump to a major city and work from existing resources.
Yep.
For new players, the second option is better.
Yep. I found so too.
You don't have enough knowledge to do that. And it all depends on the city that's close to you. You know,
Do you mean the knowledge of the map?
the knowledge of how to build infrastructure to go quickly.
Right.
Right?
Okay, fine.
With a
Okay.
city, you start with a wooden wall. You start with one market. You go to Paris, there's 5 market, and they already have
They're
a
already
large wall.
established
So I mean, going to Paris is, if it's accessible, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you a lot of soldiers. Siege engine, you'll need to be prepared. It's going to be ugly, but once you get it,
You're established.
Yeah.
Or more established than if you
Exactly.
were sitting there. Right.
But for an experienced player, I do a city, I hide it there. I get major cities and stuff, but I build my city. You will not figure out where I am because you'll attack those major city. You're going to send spy to those major
Thinking
city.
that that's where they're gonna be
Exactly. And
sitting.
if I have an anti-spy system, you're going to try to get all of that, and all of a sudden I'm in the back,
Oh, that's
right?
interesting.
So
That's an
it's
interesting
your
strategy.
way of doing it. You know, it's your way of exploring and creating. But for new players,
We always go for
Yeah,
the big city.
go for the big city and see what happens. But like I said, it's all a question of comfort in how you feel.
And exposure. It's how much.
Yeah, and
how many
again,
waves you want to make around the area.
you explore. You have 6 players around you. Don't take time to build your city, buddy.
No shit.
You won't have time.
No way.
Get to a major
Go, go,
city.
go, yeah.
You need to.
And get established.
Yeah,
quickly.
exactly. And then you have
Huh.
people that are playing what we call a dead zone, and we always have them in the game every year. A section that nobody took for some reason, you know.
Yeah, really.
So
eh?
so at that point, those players have the time. So if I gave percentage, you saw the
Yeah.
percentage,
Yeah.
you know. So low percentage, take your time, establish, build.
take, and then invest in the bigger
Yeah,
cities.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
Don't go too slow, because when you're gonna hit a player, they're gonna be established like hell,
They'll
and you won't.
steamroll you. Yeah.
But it's more in a relaxed sandbox type of environment.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. We'll go to questions that we received throughout the week. Are there limits to the assassination stats? Can they go behind 100? And we did mention this
Yeah.
already. And are you ever totally safe
No,
from assassinations? And
no.
I
What's the fun in
No,
that?
of course not. There's always a
and
chance.
even in real life, and we saw that through the periods of times. If it has to happen, it happens,
It's
and
gonna
that's the
happen.
way to go. So you just need to.
pump your stats until you feel comfortable and hope that nobody's pumped
Yeah,
more than
exactly.
you.
And again, last year players didn't get bodyguards, but not only that, nobody worked health, strength, and con. So when
Right.
the assassin passed, it wasn't even a question, will you survive?
Easy.
It was, you're dead
Yeah.
because he passed. So that's another way of thinking about it, right? It's not only, and that's what I mean about Emperor being complex.
Yeah.
Where are you putting your APs?
Yeah, because you have a bodyguard score, right? Which
Yeah.
protects against the number of assassins that also get sent and the score that gets sent.
You can only send one at a time
Okay.
on one person,
Okay.
but that person passes,
It's over.
and you don't
based on the
have-
rating,
Yeah,
based on the rating.
exactly. Then you're screwed. So there's always a possibility. It can go over 100. So
There's some comments that I just love because it's just the way that the game really feels for me too. Is like, if I get to kill a player, I win.
Exactly.
And then Dab said, 1, don't be a ruler. 2, don't be alive. Amazing.
yeah,
Okay, let's go to another one. So Bruno does have a bit more of a breakdown if people are curious about it for like that assassin's question.
it's in the manual,
but it's all in the manual.
under diplomacy, assassination. If you click on that tab, it's going to give you the percentage. It's not like we're creating numbers.
Mhm.
It's well explained. It's tell you when the resolution's positive and negative. How does the detection work, and what's involved in that?
So then we have, when you take a city or a village, when do the spoils return? And can I can I plunder on turn 1 to then use those resources on turn 2 of the 2 seasons of the week? So it's the 4 seasons of the week, but it's
Yeah.
do you get that money back after your first turn?
So in the war section under single attack, loops, and standstills, it's well explained.
Mm-hmm.
I look intelligent. It's written down in the on the screen.
He's
there.
referencing a book and it's there. Yeah.
So basically, you get the spoil of wars when your army comes back to base.
Fair.
So if they have 20 movement, and like I explained, they do 9, attack a village, come back at 9. So they would come back the same turn.
Then you have it.
Then you would have it for turn 2. If they're 40 squares away, I would do 20 to get there. So that's 40. That's 2 turns. The combat happens at the end of turn 2. Then I would only get the money the next year on turn
3
2.
or 4, whatever. it
Right.
is.
Turn 4
Yeah,
would be. Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
So it's all based
So-
on time and
Exactly. And if an army is standing still, send an army to raid to do a big loop. So
Mhm.
that's something that, another thing we can speak about
Sure.
since we're there.
Yep.
There's 2 ways of attacking. There's a single attack and there's a loop. So a single attack is I attack a city, I come back.
Yep.
Simple. A loop is I can spend action point 10 action point, and design a route where my army is going to hit multiple targets before coming back home.
Villages, cities, big cities, whatever's
Exactly.
in the loop that you choose, which proves to be really efficient in terms of action points and within a turn.
But you get the money later
But it takes a
because
longer
you
time.
get all of that back only
Right.
when the loop's finished.
Right.
So at that point, that's the thing. And also, if your army's defeated or encounter another army and loses, you lose all the
Oh, yeah.
spoil of
All your
wars.
resources are gone.
So at that point, if you had two cities, which is $2 million,
Mhm.
and Casey comes in and swoop in for the kill, he gets the 2 million, he gets the population,
Yeah.
and I get nothing, and I lost all my army,
Yeah.
which would be not hitting
Yeah,
rock
not
bottom.
great, but pretty darn close. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay. So what's a rule of thumb for knowing whether I can attack or take and win? Right. Inevitably, that's all we want to do. A city or a village. And I'm just gonna mute so I can get a drink here. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
But I'll let Bruno
So-
answer that one.
So again, we refer to it to the legend on the map where you have the population of everything that's on your map, and 10 to 25% of it is army. So if you had a village that has 1,000 people in average, they would have between 100 and 250,000, 250 soldiers. So meaning if you send 500 soldiers, you should technically win that war easily. Now, keep also in mind that villages only have light units, right?
Okay.
So, in big villages are light. Only at the city level does it start to become medium, and then major, even more medium. So, you need to keep in mind that
The risk is lower on
Is lower.
villages.
in big villages, but
The reward is lower as
yeah,
well.
exactly. So you get 100,000 for a village, 150 for a big village, 1 million for a city, and 1.5 million for a major.
Yeah, and I can't remember. I know last year we did a bunch of loops when I was just kind of getting started and trying to maximize my AP.
Yeah.
And there wasn't as many threats just right beside me or anything like that. But like we were targeting, I think, just cities and big cities in the like later set of loops because the villages, the reward just wasn't there to waste the time to get that.
But again,
loop.
you do 10 village, you get 1 million,
Yeah.
right? And you spend
Yeah.
way less.
Yeah.
But on the other way, you'll start hearing at one point, unite your nation.
Yep.
When does that happen? Is when I conquered all the cities and major cities in
In
your
your-
nation.
Yep.
And then not you're considered united because everybody responds to you.
Mm-hmm.
That gives you extra AP also. And it pushes the village and big village each update to slowly migrate into your city, bringing the money with them. So long term, if you're able to do that,
You need
go.
villages, cities, and big cities to be able to.
Unite is
Unite?
only cities and big cities.
So again, the villages
major.
aren't as important.
No, but again, 10 villages,
The money,
get a
and-
money
and
right off the bat.
population, Yeah.
right? Because everybody starts, I think it's with 2,000 soldiers,
2,500.
2,500.
I think so. I think so.
Look on your sheet.
Yeah, true. Oh, I don't have my sheet up. but
Yeah, but
I
it's
can
all
pull
good.
it up, yeah.
So at that point, that's how you would.
And villages have less than.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
So it's an easy way to start. So that would be it. That would be my suggestion. But again, it's up to everybody. You can put the test one up.
Oh, yeah.
Jesse, and that would be
I just want to see
scroll down.
city.
There you go. So
population.
1,500. Yeah, 2,500.
Okay.
So that would be a good way to start. Is
Mhm.
attacking that. It brings money. With that 100,000, you can buy better soldiers or
Yeah.
more soldiers.
Yeah, you
Go to
start
a
with an
bigger-
inventory and,
Yeah.
and you're able to start attacking and taking right away. So,
Exactly.
which is important to do. Okay, let's get to another question.
I think that's all that's written. I think we receive other
I
ones.
did have a bunch. Yeah, hold on. That's right around when I died last year. 270,000. Who's Frankie Boy?
Oh, Francis.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, I sent a bunch in the pot. That's okay. Oh, we talked way too much.
Yeah, we do talk. So again, for a new player, try to define how you want to do stuff, and if it's not military, then
Yeah.
it may not be the way to go.
Yeah, might not be the direction.
Yeah.
So we did get a question from Kevin from Belgium. He said he saw a change between last year and this year. We got a war advisor, and now we have generals for the army. That was only one person. If you send your army, does the general or otherwise your king be sent, or do you choose your war advisor?
So
Right.
okay, so
Which we kind of hit it
yeah,
on.
exactly. It's a 3-step one. So your war advisor cannot lead your army. You can,
Right.
meaning your army cannot be bought,
And your general can.
and your general
Right.
can. Your war advisor is bound to your council or your court, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it.
Even though they kind of still are with you to advise you, it's
Yeah,
they're not a
exactly.
figurehead for the army or a representative
Exactly.
to the army. That's fine. Okay. Any more questions? Let's just go back. I know I sent a chunk of them too. All right. What's the advantages of using? Well, this is a quick one we've already answered. Horse explorers versus normal explorers.
I like I said, horse explorers more, but chance of war really expanded.
The risk of war is
Yeah, yeah.
way fast, and you'll see that within
And-
the first
And the
week or
question
two.
in
You're going
new
to see war,
players
war.
is, which one should I send?
Yep.
You know, and again, if it's a busy place, explorers. That's another point I want to make. Explorers, land explorers, meeting land explorers will not attack each other.
Okay.
They won't divulge anything other than we met. So that might be it. So if I was,
But wait, they met another explorer from an undisclosed nation.
yes,
Okay. You don't get to know that it's Bruno from.
they would just know. Let's say I play France and you play the German
Sure.
army. It's not the German army. It's the Holy Roman Army,
Okay.
which is in Germany.
Yep.
So our two explorers, you would get a notification saying you've seen
cross.
French explorers, and I would get
I've seen
you
the
get-
Holy Roman
yeah,
Army. Explorer.
exactly.
Fair. So
Where
you still get a bit of information.
Where the horse explorer is different is that you would kill my explorer. So I wouldn't get the square and would say my explorer got killed by the Holy Roman Army.
Do you want to declare?
Do you want to
declare war?
So for those who don't know, especially the new players, declaring war is 35 AP. And as you can see, you start with 15. 35 is a lot of AP. So
Yeah,
if you can
yeah.
do it for free, you need to stop and look at it and see if that's actually something valid you want to do.
right.
So that's the mindset behind the game.
Okay. Perfect. That was it there. Next question. Okay, what are the conditions to meet for a pope to be a king or for someone to take on like a
Great
kingdom?
question. So for new players again, and maybe more experienced players, understand that the Pope cannot build an army and cannot marry.
Oh, I didn't know
Okay.
that. Okay.
So there's certain conditions, and there's way of making that happen, obviously, that I won't share with you. But as soon as someone declares war to the papal state, the Pope now has the right to declare himself king
Yeah.
to build an army. Meaning, if he declares himself king and has an army, can marry, thus have children. So,
Oh, that triggers
if
such
you
a
wanna
bigger.
s-
That triggers such
yeah,
a bigger reaction from
so what
I
you
didn't know
want to
that. That's
do
cool.
is not do that.
it. Yeah. Hey, as a group, as a
Yeah.
whole, don't do
Do
it.
that.
Everybody, if you
But
are
there's
watching,
so many
don't-
ways
don't.
because the Pope has the right to declare a crusade. right? And if they declare a crusade against you and you said,
And then
screw
you say,
that,
yeah,
I'm going to retaliate or I'm going to
They're
defend
like,
myself, then you create war. By creating war,
Oh,
you
that's
declare
so
war
terrible.
on him. Then there's multiple ways. Send an assassin, miss. I want the assassin to be known and miss. Do you declare war to the Pope? He just sent you an assassin. You don't know he missed on purpose, or he killed
Oh
your
my
children, or your
God.
wife that was a score 10 that gave you 35 action point a turn.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
You have you
But
just
then it
stay there
triggers-
and you're just like, it's okay.
Oh, the domino effect or the trigger after the fact
Yeah,
is so
exactly.
much worse. That's interesting.
But it's worse for the others.
Yeah.
It's not worse for you because you go to war with him. You
Yeah.
could win and become the next Pope.
yeah,
So you don't care. But everybody else does.
I like it. I like it. Okay, so this is maybe more of like a strategy type thing, or like investing in defenses is more what it is. But how do you best prepare for an incoming attack when you don't really know that it's coming?
You're already on the losing side,
Right?
right? Because
Yeah.
you didn't know it was coming.
Yeah.
So
So what do you do
ships-
ahead? Yeah.
Build ships in your water to try to detect an incoming armada. Build outposts. Expand. Declare territory. But short term, you're at the mercy of the others. Everybody's at the mercy of the other players
Whoever
because
got ahead.
nobody gets established that quickly. So, like I said, this year, people start with their map and they see other players on it already right off the bat. You didn't play a turn yet and you know he's there.
See, that's wild.
So at that point, what do you do? Well, you go forward and you try to manage. Do you try an alliance? You could start really
Well, that's
powerful.
true.
An
That's true.
alliance right off the bat.
That's true.
Well, everybody's so weak. Or do
I'm-
you go head to head? So
Can you centralize revenue, or no? Can you centralize your economy on an alliance with nations, like neighboring nations or whatever it is? Like,
I can have a centralized economy. You can have a centralized economy.
But can we?
No. The
Why?
way we would do it, we would do an alliance,
Yeah.
which is diplomacy, and then I would do a trade
Trade
alliance.
routes. Trade routes. Okay.
So I would give you money, right? Because my trade routes would open stands in all your cities,
oh, right. Which
and
generates
then
income
you
for
would
me
do
anyways.
it, which generate income for
Yeah.
me. Now that being said, the day that alliance die, we lose a lot of resources.
yeah.
But some player may hold
we
it
would
and
live
said
it-
and say, and top two. We'll do the top two,
Yeah.
and then we'll
then
battle
we'll
it
figure it
out.
out. Yeah.
And then I send an assassin turn 15 and I kill you and I became super huge. So it's all a question. That's another one. What happened if I'm caught? And the alliance breakdown. There's actually a section in the manual. Unrest goes up. Your money goes down. There's
Alright.
a bunch of things
Rebellion.
because you're breaking the alliance
And
unfaithfully.
both nations would support each
But
other.
Then I would say don't get caught.
be sneaky.
If my spy's in your city and you did not detect them, that means my assassin has a chance.
Right.
So when you ask and you have NT spy and you said, do I detected any spies? That's where the mind game starts. Because I'll say no. Maybe because there's none. Because maybe there's
Or maybe
10,000.
You just didn't know.
You don't know.
Your radar.
So where do you go and up to how much money do you want to spend on this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let's be honest, the Pope doesn't have an army. So what you spend in your army, guess where he's spending it?
Yeah.
So
He's buying it out either way. I love it. Okay. We kind of already answered this. Okay, is there any late? Maybe this is not any late or early tricks for someone beginning in a big, medium, or small country.
oh God.
Yeah, that's
that
a
is
tough one.
tricky question to answer. I would say if you start in a really small nation, unite,
Early,
get it together
Yeah.
as fast as
spread-
possible.
spread out.
Because you will gain AP that the others will never touch.
And some of the nations
Right.
obviously are bigger because
So,
of
some of
their
them
size,
are
obviously, but-
15% of a nation square.
Yeah.
I conquer a city and a major city, and there's nothing. So, king, united, declare territory.
AP.
Then I get 35, 15. I'm up at what, 50 AP that you don't have,
Yeah.
because turn 2 you're back down at whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I get 100 action point a week that you don't have.
Phew.
I put that toward military and try to expand as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
That's a short nation approach.
Yeah.
Now you're screwed if everybody around you are players and they have
They're
big nation,
expanding to
because then you attack it. Not only do that player declare war, but the nation does, and the nation declares war. Meaning, for example, you play a small nation A, and I play a big nation.
Mhm.
You expand quickly. You come into my nation not knowing I'm there. My nation declares war on you. I now have war on you without even spending action point, because the
Very
AI reacted, and you don't know I exist. So
Yeah.
you're like, okay, count the number of cities. He's
I
going to
can
come
do it.
with
I can do it.
55, 60,000. And all of a sudden there's 350,000 of us because I'm leading it.
Yeah.
And then I conquer you. Then I get whatever you did.
It's brutal.
So
it's such
small-
an amazingly brutal
yeah,
game.
it's a small nation problem positive. Medium is your medium. So I think it's a big one. It's slow to unite, but once you have it, you've gained so much resources. And You're
Yeah.
so big already. It's hard to stop you. But
Yeah.
you need to get out of it.
You steamroll a bit at some point too,
Yeah.
which is good, and that's what you want. But
Exactly.
definitely
So
makes it
so
difficult.
that would be the tips.
And you've already told us a bit of a story about the people that married and created an
Yeah.
alliance, and that I guess they just got married, and that was fine. But the last question was, what's the funniest thing that happens in Emperor? Is it something?
So many things.
Can I tell you mine?
Yeah, sure.
So last year we played. I just went and conquered Dan Lizat. Shout out Dan. Took him out. The best part about it for me was that you kind of turned and said, "You want to call him?" And I said, "Right now?" And you said, "Yeah." And we had already talked about it actually at the social get together or whatever it was, where we said, if you get a call from Bruno during the season when it's not your scheduled time, it means you're dead.
Yeah, it's not
And
a good thing.
So Dan picked up the phone. I can imagine, at home, picked up the phone and said, "Yeah." And Bruno said, "Yeah." And he said, "Really?" And to me. And then I was sitting on Facebook Messenger being like, "Let's go," just super excited and super happy. The very next week, like we finished the call, we both kind of had it out. It was a lot of fun. We finished the call and I said, "Okay, I'm right at the shore. I need to build a port." So, or a shipyard, pardon me. I build my shipyard and docks, and as soon as I do, my whole bay was filled with warships from the Pope, who I had just was aligned with.
Was it the Pope or was it Francis from?
Maybe it was Francis. You're right. So they were aligned with Dan, and I didn't know they had already been set up. So I killed Dan. He joined me, and then as soon as I built the shipyard, there's 120 warships, and I said, "Is there anything I can do, bro?" And he's like, "Nothing." And I was like, "All right, thanks for the call." And I said, "Good night," whatever. I was so fucking disappointed. It was literally the very next week, and so that's why I'm a little bit.
That call never
tainted by
goes
that.
easy.
Oh, it's so brutal.
I understand. I understand you don't want to be the first one to die. Then you've built so much you don't want to die,
Yeah, yeah.
and then it happens.
That was what it was.
So I get it, And another funny part is Derek.
There's Dan.
Not last year, but the year prior to that, Derek played the Pope, and he had 5 Catholic nation, and I think he killed four of them. And
Wow.
always blamed it on somebody else. I think Dan again. I think Dan was involved in that. I think Dan was the last one standing, and he thought, they're so unlucky. So many people were getting killed, and Derek said it was the Muslim nation. I think Austin was playing it. So Dan sent all his army going at it, and the first thing
no chance.
it's Derek that's leading it.
Yeah.
He killed everybody else. So yeah, so many fun things happen.
Yeah.
Especially we have family members that plays.
Yeah.
So
wife and husband and
yeah,
wife.
and they want to
holy
kill
moly.
each other. Who finish higher in the ranking?
Always.
It's funny to see.
We need to do and I don't know how you'd feel about like suggestions for this stuff, but like a wall of fame of obviously like, you know, the winners, and I think there should be like a trophy or a record that shows it, that's like permanent, and maybe the winner gets it for the year and brings it home. Like I'm thinking fantasy
Yeah,
football
sure.
type
Let's
thing,
send
but
it
like,
in Russia and
oh
have
yeah,
it back
maybe
for
not.
the next year. Yeah, that's a
You
great
won't get
plan,
it for a week, or it'll
Casey.
cost you $300
Yeah,
to get there.
exactly.
But I don't know. There's got to be some way that even if it's just a website or something where we have the
2 years
2025
ago,
winner.
Sarah and Austin did an Oscar, and they had a nomination.
Nice.
That was really, really, really
Nice.
fun. I want attendance. If they're spending, we have so many engaged players
Yeah.
that if we're organizing something, we need to show up.
Yep. I
Right?
agree.
And
Yep.
so we just need to provide that proper, thank you.
Place to be there.
But I agree. Like the winner and the runner up, maybe a medal or something. Again, for those who don't know, Emperor is a free game.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have
Merch.
Merch.
It will show it's delayed.
yeah
there, but
yeah exactly merch and we're gonna get to that. And the idea would be to maybe create a small fund
Yeah.
where we can buy medals, where we
Yeah.
can, because Diego, Renaud, and Nicolas is spending money, their own money, to have system to do videos,
Yeah,
to do the
yeah,
macros and
yeah.
all of that. So I mean, it would be important to help them out with that. Piece.
Yep. So if you can get a sweater when you can, get a shirt.
Yeah, well, Casey doesn't know yet, but he's gonna be the merch guy. So
Yeah. I'll
merch guy,
promote.
so-
That's fine.
so-
Yeah. I'm all for that. That was it I had for questions. Does anybody else? Their chat's kind of going, which is amazing. I think somebody needed to bring Dan some Kleenex, but looks like he's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
He's definitely not hunting for me this year, I'm sure. I also haven't seen him in a while, so it'd be nice to see him too. So we should do a early season wings night, and then like close to the end when people are in, and then when people are out.
Yeah, I don't know how that
I
would.
can get
A
away
lot
for
of
an
crying.
evening.
I would have
Yeah.
to buy Kleenex. I
Yeah,
think.
we'll bring it to them. We'll see how they feel.
But the most important things, and I want to focus on that, and people to understand that, have fun.
Yeah,
I think it's important to enjoy the time you have,
I
the turn, and it's great because I create all those relationships by spending time with you
True,
and
true.
the others, and talking and discovering who they are.
and what kind of a maniac they are when they try and
Yeah,
play like
exactly.
a board
And
game.
I love
or
when
or a
people say, you
strategy
know
game.
what, I played this game. It's not important. It's just a side project. and then week 3, they're 15 minutes early for
Yeah.
their appointment,
Yeah,
going
with a
like,
li- with
can
a
we
li-
start
with a
early?
list of
Like, I
stuff.
have a list of
I'm
questions.
happy to go whenever. Happy to go
I
whenever.
know I have a player when they take a piece of paper or their phone, they're like, okay, I have questions.
Yeah.
And they're not even looking at me at this point.
No,
They're
because
just drilling
it doesn't
down.
matter. Just tell
Yeah.
me what I need to do. What can I do? What should I do?
So that's very, very exciting for me.
Well, I think in all honesty, you created something super cool. I'm happy to be part of it. And like with this stuff, I'm happy to kind of help and get involved. And I want to stay on the player side because it's just super cool.
Yeah,
and
for
I
sure.
don't know. So maybe
So-
one day, not 10 years from now, when after I've won one, then we'll talk. But got to get on the board first.
So turns starts next week.
Turns are on next week.
The schedule has been put out.
Yeah.
You should be able to know when you're doing your turns. If you don't, reach out to me or Diego.
Yep.
That's your next step. If you didn't choose a name for your character in the picture,
I
that's
didn't do that.
important to do that too. Why? Because after next week, on the Monday, it's the first video. And if we don't have your name or
death
stuff
roll.
and you're doing something, we need to do it, and Diego needs that information. So next week, kind of your little homework for Emperor, a name and a picture. If you did it, great. You
Yeah.
don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Then the video comes in on the Monday. Then we do a podcast on the Friday.
Sure.
We'll
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
going.
Yeah, I could do Friday. Yeah.
And
perfect.
again, next week we'll be more chatting about the video and
Yeah.
maybe talking on a few subjects.
A lot of people like to update their name on the Facebook Messenger based off of the name of their character if you choose to, if you want to. And then some people like to put the late or the past or whatever when or if they die, and just kind of added a little bit more to it. But
Don't do that until you declare yourself king or queen. Why? Because
Okay,
you're
yeah.
going to put your name on.
and
I
they'll
am
know
going to
where you're
research
from.
and I know where you
Yeah,
are.
fair enough.
So don't do
Once
that.
you've
Keep
been
your
exposed
name,
to who it is,
you know, to Casey,
Yeah.
Dan, Bruno, whatever, until, you know, you've declared yourself king. Then at that point, everybody knows you're the king of.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a good tip.
Sweet.
So,
Okay.
all right. So I think we did well for our first
I think so too.
podcast.
This is awesome.
I think that,
Let's send it off and then we can debrief and chat about it. But
yeah.
this is great. Thank you. For
And
real.
then,
And thank you for everybody that
Yeah,
showed
for
showed
sure.
up. We had 10 strong, 10, 12. We got to 13.
that's perfect.
Yeah, it's really good.
And like I said, next week we're gonna be able to talk a bit more about it. Joke's on you.
She said she picked a Martian name.
There you go.
That's how we'll send it
Yeah,
off.
exactly.
Thank you.
So have